So, boys, this is it. This is the last episode of the 2024-2025 NBA season. Because, Game 7 is supposed to be this Sunday if it happens. So, by the time the next episode comes out, we're officially in off-season number 2 of the show.
Which will be next week.
Yeah, it will.
Well, it will. The series can't physically go past Sunday.
Right.
Yes.
So, it'll be draft time at that point and everything of that nature.
Exactly.
So,
And we will potentially have a guest, Fetty.
Yeah.
I asked him, he's interested, so
he'll potentially come back.
yeah.
So, and you know, if you guys want to see anyone on our show or like a live stream or anything, just let them down in the comments. We're open to having guests on the show, and you know, it's a good way to just, you know, get more voices, different fans of different teams on the show, kind of
Yeah.
get an inside look, especially in the off season too, where, you know, we can get some more in-depth Wizards talk or in-depth
Bro, really?
Jazz talk.
You just said
Yeah.
Wizards talk,
Yeah,
bro?
The Wizards have a promising future, to be fair to them.
We are
Alright, fine.
we are actively
I'm a casual, though.
We are actively looking for geo replacements
Okay, yeah, definitely.
for certain segments and episodes. Please apply down in the link below.
I think the only thing you should be replaced for is the don't say the same name as me short.
Don't say, yeah.
Yeah.
Really, if you guys watch the shorts, you know
Yeah,
what's
you'll
going
know.
on over there. Don't worry, though. It's going to be a comeback.
Tune in this Sunday for part 14, or part 15, actually. We'll see if he can, you know, overcome his fears.
How many
But
wins do I have?
I think you have like 2.
Dude,
And that's me being generous. I don't even know.
that's bad.
But it's episode 62. As you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we're doing another awards episode. So you see us do this a couple times already where we gave our predictions for the awards at the start of the season. We gave our mid-season awards back in January. And we did our full award picks at the end of the regular season. Today, it's all playoffs. So, you know, we'll do the MVP, the DPOY, all that stuff for just the postseason. And we'll see who's been the best. And, you know, we'll give them their praise and everything of that nature. But how you guys doing today?
We're doing well.
Good.
We're getting right to it.
I had a fun time roasting Anthony earlier.
Nobody asked.
Yeah.
Nobody asked.
It was fun.
Nobody asked.
It's enjoyable. I must say.
Yes.
Okay.
Someone had told me, I forgot who it was. I think it might have been Kev, where you know that meme of the girl swinging in the swing set where there's like the whole school's on fire behind her.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's essentially me, and you guys are fighting. It's just like I'm just sitting here enjoying myself,
Yeah.
just like absorbing it all. But you know, we have fun here. We're just 3 goofballs that love basketball.
It was bothering me.
But anyways, if you guys do enjoy today's episode, be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. We're close to 6K. Try and get us there by the end of the month. We're so close. We're so very close. If you're on Spotify audio platforms, give us 5 stars, answer the polls, all that good stuff. We're going to do our typical, you know, first 45 minutes to an hour of news before we get into the main part of the show. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Join the Discord server in the pinned comment below. And guys, do we have anything else to say before we dive right into the first segment?
Let's roll.
So we were originally going to open up today's show regarding games 4 and 5 of the NBA Finals, but breaking news happened on Sunday morning, something that we had absolutely no idea was going to happen, and lo and behold, here it is. The Memphis Grizzlies have traded Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, 4 unprotected first-round picks, and 1 first-round pick swap. Sources tell ESPN. Crazy, crazy stuff. And a little bit of breakdown of the picks that were given. It is the number 16 pick in this year's draft, Phoenix's first-round pick next year, the Magic's unprotected first in 2028 and 2030, and there's 1 pick swap that's slightly protected in 2029. Wow. So crazy first major trade of the 2025 offseason. We'll go to you first, Gio. What are your thoughts? What's going through your mind right now?
I mean, immediately when I saw that, I'm like, that's going to be really good for the Magic. That's the first thing that went through my mind because we all know they needed shooting, and Desmond Bane provides that. And not only can he shoot, I mean, he's also a big, brolic guy. Like, he can play some defense, too. Like, he's strong. He's a solid guy, you know? So
Yeah.
it's rare to find a guy that's strong and can shoot. He can do both, so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's just who Desmond Bane is, you know, at the end of the day. And there's a stat I'm trying to pull up right now.
T-Rex guy.
If I can find it. Yeah, he basically does have the he basically does have the T-Rex arms. Well, I'm looking for the stat, Antoine. What are your thoughts on this trade?
Oh, wow. You know, I think this crosses off the Magic that they are not going to get another point guard because clearly they're sold on, I guess, Suggs and Anthony Black, and Bane's going to step into that 2 spot with Suggs or Black at the starting point guard. And their lineup's fully filled now with, you know, their guys. Great trade for Memphis, getting those picks back. Really like notable, even almost an outside lottery pick this year's draft as well. They move on from one of their key players, but it's not Ja, it's not Triple J.
Right.
They get back KCP, who hopefully could rejuvenate his career there. Just signed that contract in Orlando last year. And then get Cole Anthony, a nice little backup point guard to be off the bench for them.
Yeah.
And add depth, regardless. So,
Wait, what picks do they get? Can we just review that really quickly? I'm sorry.
yeah.
16th for this year.
Pick for this year.
Then
Phoenix's pick in 2026.
Okay.
And then the Magic's own pick in 2028, 2030, and a lightly protected swap in 2029.
Okay.
Which is probably top 4 protected.
Pretty
So
cool.
if they finish inside the top 4 in some Armageddon scenario, they would keep the pick and they wouldn't get the swap.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So-
think it's a win-win for both sides because the Magic get better, which is what they need. Not point guard better, but offensively better.
Yes.
The Grizzlies get better for the future, and they also now focus on Triple J and Ja and meshing that together with KCP now with more defense, Jalen Wells, Zach Edey, draft picks, maybe more moves to come. And they move off of Bane, who took up, I guess, a lot of scoring that could have been for Ja, Triple J, who they want to focus on a lot more.
Yeah.
4 first-round picks for Bane makes the Mikal trade look a lot better, but I would probably have Desmond Bane over Mikal Bridges any day of the week.
Yeah,
So I understand that.
I think I disagree. I think it makes the Mikal trade look worse because Desmond Bane is a better player than Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
Because Mikal Bridges at his peak is an elite role player. Desmond Bane's like a fringe all-star. He hasn't gotten the selection yet.
I think Mikal at his peak is a fringe all-star as well.
I wouldn't say that.
Bane scores on a healthy Bane like almost 30 a night. Like 25 plus.
Like mid to low 20s.
Yeah.
Same thing with Mikal when he was in Brooklyn.
But
when he
here's
was,
the big difference, though, when it comes to Bane and Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
It says Bane is one of 3 NBA players with 800 made three-pointers, 40% three-point shooting, entering the league since 2020.
pretty good.
And has shot 43.2% on catch-and-shoot threes in the last 5 seasons.
Yeah.
That's that's what the Magic need. And that's been our biggest problem with Franz and Paulo. The outside shot is killing them because they just can't seem to knock any of it down in the playoffs. And now you have a guy that can shoot the ball and he can create his own shot.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen what he's been able to do without Ja and Triple J on the floor. And you combine that now with Jalen Suggs, who is a decent shooter. He's kind of spotty here and there, but he's a great defender. It's a good backcourt they got. And a lot of dialogue has been around the first-round picks and everything like that. And Brian Windhorst talked about it on First Take the other day, that it was only really supposed to cost, I think, like 2 or 3, but they're offloading KCP, who was a total negative asset, total Jokic merchant.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. But I don't really think this was an overpay at all, because I'll tell you why. Notice the teams that have made 4 first-round pick trades over the years, right? The Knicks, the Nets, the Suns, the Clippers gave the Thunder all those picks, the Lakers gave the Pelicans all those picks, everything like that. That was all they had. And we'll put a tweet on the screen right now. This is what the Orlando Magic have moving forward. They still have the 25th pick in this year's draft from Denver. From Denver. They also have 46 and 58. They have 2 seconds next year. They have a first-round pick in 2027. They have 2 seconds in 2028. They have the first round in 2029 that can be swapped. It's top 2 protected, not top 4. They have 2 seconds in 2030, and they have their own first-round pick in 2031. So you have a lot to throw around at, and you can even use some of those picks to trade for a big man, like Porzingis maybe, if you really want to get more three-point shooting in the lineup.
Yeah. I mean, they have a lot of young assets as well. They drafted really well. Bane adds a prolific scorer that's starting for them. Can take a load off of Paolo and Franz and let them do what they do best. KCP, of course, I thought had to be moved, and they did. And Cole Anthony, again, another name is thrown in the trade talks. And then the thing for Memphis is that they're all to talk about John Triple J. Actually, it's Bane that gets moved instead, and they wind up keeping the 2 guys that are in the trade talks.
Right.
And I think Bane was obviously the other easy movable piece besides John Triple J.
Yeah.
So, of course, you move on from him, cash in, and now rebuild this team around the 2 guys that you drafted.
Rebuild. I think that's the key word.
Retool. They're not rebuilding.
Yeah,
No, I think it is. I think it's a rebuild.
Rebuilds would be trading Ja and Triple J, and they're not going to do that.
All right. Well,
a retool.
can we at least acknowledge that this Memphis team is definitely nowhere near being a contender, currently constructed? Can we acknowledge that?
In the West, if we see the 2 expansion
Yeah.
teams come around and Memphis gets moved to the East,
Right.
then they'll be in a much
So
better
that's a big
situation.
if. That's a big if.
That's
but
years from now.
right. But right now, they are clearly not even close to being a contender.
No.
Right.
Well,
So
yeah.
maybe this is a mini. Let's call it a mini rebuild because now they're putting their stock into the future.
That's
they got
what
draft
retooling
picks
is.
for the future instead of
You're
trying to
looking-
compete with the team that they have now. So what does that mean for Ja? Because obviously they're not in the best position to compete. What does that mean for Ja and his career right now with the Grizzlies?
Well, he's staying. I mean,
Yeah.
you're looking at a starting five of Ja, KCP, Jalen Wells, Triple J, Zach Edey, Zach Edey, Cole Anthony off the bench, G.G. Jackson off the bench, Santi Aldama.
They're gonna try and sign and trade Santi Aldama.
I was going to say that he's
But definitely off
he's
the
an
roster.
RFA, right?
Yeah.
They could sign in people. They could bring. They had the 16th overall pick in the draft. Don't they have their own first round pick too? Memphis. They have 2 picks this year.
I
in the
believe
draft?
so.
So you're going to bring in lottery guys or one lottery close to lottery guy and one later on first pick that are probably going to be pretty decent. So you're building that bench out. Hopefully KCP gets back to what his Denver days were defensively and offensively a little bit with them. And then Jalen Wells and Edey taking a big step in the second year, along with Triple J and Jaw's development together without Bane. You have the head coach in for his first year fully. I mean, you just kind of ride with it and, see what happens.
It feels like a mini rebuild. It's just because
It's a
Ja
rebuild.
and JJJ, Triple J, they're the only core parts of this team. Everyone
Basically.
else could get moved. Everyone else is not really that good. So it's like it feels, and they don't even have a coach. Like, I mean,
Right.
they have a coach, but
They
they
have
don't
a
have a
coach.
coach. You know what I mean?
No, he's the full-time head coach.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like he's not an experienced head
Right,
coach.
no,
right.
I understand what he's talking about.
So
Yeah.
I think right now Memphis needs to prioritize health this season because we can say what we want about Ja Morant and how great he is and all the off the court problems. When he's on the court, he gets hurt a lot.
he does.
And that's something that he needs to fix. That's something Triple J desperately needs to fix. Now that he doesn't have to play the 5 anymore, this should allow him to not have to bump bodies with guys that are heavier than him. And he should be able, I
Exactly.
think Rick Carlisle's made it so evidently clear. Conditioning is so important in the
Oh,
NBA.
yeah. Wow.
And if you're poorly conditioned, like why do you think, do you honestly think if Jokic wasn't this conditioned, do you think he'd be this good?
Definitely not.
I think he'd struggle. I think he'd be gassed after 15 minutes on the floor.
100%.
But he could play 50 minutes and he's sprinting up and down the floor faster than everyone else. So
I wouldn't say faster. He's kind of slow, but
he outpaces you in
He
those
does outpace.
moments
He eventually,
because
yeah.
when you're tired, I don't care how fast you are.
100%.
If you're gassed out in the fourth quarter, it basically gives you nothing. And
Yeah.
Desmond Bane essentially was the easiest player to trade. He just signed his extension.
Yeah.
His value stupidly high because his talent's so insane.
Yeah.
That I think he can really thrive on this Magic team. But I
Yeah,
want
he
to know.
could.
I want to know more about the Magic from you guys
Magic.
because here we have an Eastern Conference that is as wide open as it ever was. Like, do you genuinely think the Magic can make a deep run with this roster?
I want to say something really quick about the Grizzlies, and then I'll go to the Magic. Really quick, I think Ja, if he wants an MVP, it's going to be within the next 2 years because this team is not the greatest. So he can show them that he can bring this team up to compete for maybe a championship. If he can do that, if he can raise the level of these teammates, the MVP is his, right? He's
Yeah.
that type of player. But anyways, back to the Magic. Can you repeat the question?
Do you think this Magic team can make a deep run in a weak East?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like, I don't know, Franz and Paolo are already really good players. They just needed to have like that one person that can kind of space the floor for them.
Yeah.
And they got that with Desmond Bane. I don't think people realize how important it is in an offense in this era to have a guy that can space the floor. It opens up the world for these guys, Paolo and Franz, who play more inside, right?
Right.
So I think that's huge for them. I think this offense is going to be really good, and they already have a good defense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think this team can definitely go far in the playoffs.
I think at their best, the Magic have the second best defense in the NBA.
Wow.
And you're adding 19, 6, and 5.
There you go.
A night.
There you go.
Desmond Bane. This season, he shot 39% from 3. It was a little bit of a down year for him, but that's still really good as
Yeah.
far as like in the Eastern Conference, teams are a lot worse. You're going to get a lot more open shots.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, who do you realistically see competing in the East next season besides Indiana? It's
Not the
Indiana.
Celtics.
The Celtics, who knows what's going
Halfway,
on?
maybe the Celtics.
I mean,
I think the Knicks will be in there
Yeah.
again. I think
still
the Pistons will be there.
I think the Cavs you have to put in there.
yeah,
Cavs,
Cleveland.
I guess, even though they're
Orlando,
frauds.
Orlando, you toss in easily.
I think it's really just those 5 to 6
That's it.
because
Yeah.
there's other I
Bucks.
don't trust Boston. I don't trust Milwaukee. I don't trust Philly. I don't even trust Toronto.
Yeah, no.
I really
Those
think
guys
it's
will be
just-
there though.
they'll hang around. But if you're talking about making a deep run, conference finals,
Yeah.
I think the Magic are up there as in like a top 3, top 4 team in the East.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, the starting five is great. The bench is young, maybe bringing some veterans. Listen, new logo, go swinging in the first year.
Exactly.
The new identity.
And this is the time to do it when the East is open. If Indiana comes back and wins this series, they're most certainly having a hangover the next season. It's so imperative if that happens to attack and put your foot on the gas and get yourself to the NBA Finals. I think it's the most important thing for really anything. And, they had a horror show season last year with all the injuries. Literally, all 3 of their best players from 1, 2, 3, they just dropped like flies.
Yeah.
And I think this team will go as far as Jalen Suggs takes them.
Yeah.
Because you saw how great this team was, even without Paolo and Franz on the floor.
Right.
Once the point guard went, everything went to crap.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
most important thing here.
Also, I'm looking forward to seeing Paulo and Franz's development as not point guards, because they're not point guards,
They're
but
not.
just guys who can play with the ball in their hands and facilitate. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if a team has multiple point guards, that team is going to be super successful. Do you know? So, like, if you look at a team like the Nuggets, I mean, you got a guy that's 7 foot running point, basically.
Right.
And then you also have Jamal Murray. Then you also have Russell Westbrook. That's a bunch of point guards on the team. That's why the team is so successful, because everyone can make a play. Everyone can pass the ball. Everyone sees the floor well. If they can take that jump, this team can do it all.
Look at the 2 finals teams.
Yeah. There you go.
That's all. That's really all you need.
Everyone can play point.
Everyone can play point guard.
Yeah.
The Pacers have 3 point guards. The Thunder at least have 2.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that's what you need. And I think a good point guard and a center that can hold their own will win you a championship. And I do think they'll need to upgrade from Wendell Carter, but for now, he's fine.
Yeah.
You don't need to do anything drastic.
Mo Wagner's coming back too.
Yeah, but he was a bench player regardless.
But really good bench player.
Yeah, he's someone that he's going to play. He's essentially going to play the Jeff Green role on this team and come off the bench. He won't really shoot well, but he'll give you offensive boards. And in the Eastern Conference, there's a lot of teams that can't rebound.
Right.
So
A necessary role.
exactly, that's something you absolutely need to have.
Yeah.
So, do you have any other final thoughts regarding the Orlando Magic before we get into the next news story?
Let's rock.
All right, let's transition over to an extension. This, honestly, was something I was looking forward to seeing who was going to get this guy.
Yeah.
And he wound up just staying put, which kind of just killed the whole vibe of the situation. But nonetheless, Steven Adams, NBA's Aquaman, has signed a 3-year, $39 million contract extension to stay with the Houston Rockets.
Yes, sir.
So, congratulations to Steven Adams.
Yeah.
Very underrated player in our generation.
Well deserved comeback contract.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on what Steven Adams has given to this team?
Besides Fred VanVleet, another vet that's playoff experience, was the guy in OKC for a while with them. Transformation from a guy that had short hair to completely long hair and a long beard, and within
He spent that VC well.
Yeah, he
4 or
did.
5
All the
years.
tattoos.
And he's definitely the backup to Şengün, but is a very valuable backup
Oh, yeah.
indeed.
Yeah.
And you had to keep him around. That is a nice building block for that young team, for Şengün, and to keep around long term for playoff runs. And he showed this year he's healthy. He overcame that long period of time with his injury and finally found a home here in Houston. Houston took a chance on him because he was traded around like multiple times, right, during the injury?
Yeah, I think he was on the Grizzlies at one point.
Was
He went to the Grizzlies. He went to the Pelicans.
Pels,
Yeah.
And
He
then
was
he
moved
found
around
a
a
home
lot.
in Houston. Yeah.
Yeah, because they didn't know when he was going to be back. And he was just tossed, and now finds that in Houston. Really good spot for him as well.
And he was just fresh off an injury when he got traded to
Exactly.
Houston. He had knee surgery.
Yeah.
So
Proved definitely that spot for him. Definitely not start anymore, but it's okay.
Yeah, definitely. Steven Adams is one of my favorite players of all time.
why didn't you put him in your top 20?
Oh, man. You know,
should've.
he's just one of those guys that you just kind of forget about, though. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people are going to forget about Steven Adams when, in like 10 years down the line,
why?
they'll be like, oh, Steven Adams, that guy was so good.
That was because of the injury. The injury really, people forgot about him a
Maybe.
lot.
No, I think a
I
lot,
think it
a
more
lot
so
of those
is-
Thunder players are going to get forgotten because the franchise didn't succeed in the way they should have.
Yes.
Okay.
That's definitely
Because-
part of it.
To me, that roster reminded me so much of the Raptors team, but that Raptors team is going to be remembered more because they got it done.
They won. Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's why,
100%.
do you really think if they had lost to Golden State in 2019 and they never won a championship, do you think people would talk about OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, or any of those players? I don't think they would.
Not
Even Fred VanVleet.
really.
because
Yeah, you're right.
because Van Vliet and Siakam specifically elevated so much in the NBA Finals.
Mm-hmm.
They're always going to be talked about, especially what Siakam's been doing this season. He's making himself a Hall of Fame case.
Yeah, he is.
That's how incredible his career has gone and the way he's playing.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation. But I think he's definitely a Hall of Famer, even right now if he retired.
Who's Siakam?
Siakam.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my biggest like NBA hot take.
Yeah.
Is that he's
I
a
like
Hall of Famer. But we can talk
agree
about
on
that
that.
another time.
Yeah.
But with Steven Adams, he just does his job so well. He is literally, in my opinion, an international 7-foot TJ McConnell. Because it doesn't matter what he does on the floor. Whatever he does is so overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's just a joy to watch, really.
Yeah. In my opinion, I think him and Rudy Gobert are kind of the same player, except I hate Rudy Gobert. And he gets all the notoriety. Steven Adams kind of gets tossed under the bus. You can probably say Rudy Gobert's a better player. Fine.
He also gets tossed under the bus a lot, too.
Yeah, but he still has 4 DPOYs, which I don't think he deserves.
Look,
but anyways,
Steven
Adams did that too, but it's just like
we-
no one cares about Steven Adams.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Because Rudy
They do the
Gobert's-
same thing.
Rudy Gobert's a multi-time All-Star, and
Yeah, but they do the same thing. It's like
not really. Rudy Gobert's rim protector. Like Steven Adams is a pure rebounding center. Rudy Gobert's a great rim protector.
so is Steven Adams.
I'm not
In
saying,
his prime,
I'm not saying he's
Adams
bad,
was
but
outstanding.
Rudy Gobert made Cat look good defensively. Cat's one of the worst defenders I've ever seen with my own eyes, and he made him look decent.
We don't got to get into this
That's
right
all
now.
I'm saying.
Fine,
But-
I'll concede as of now.
Yes.
But Steven
Big
Adams
up, Rudy.
is super underrated, and hopefully people remember him. And he's just that anchor. You just want him on your team. If you want to win, you want him. You want Steven Adams. Yeah.
Exactly. And speaking of Rudy Gobert, we weren't going to talk about this, but seeing that I saw this on Twitter, and it really just is so flagrantly hilarious that we have to talk about it. We've already talked about the KD situation ad nauseum, so if you want to go check that out, just watch our previous 4 or 5 episodes. But Minnesota is essentially trying to get Kevin Durant, even though Kevin Durant doesn't want to go there.
Yeah.
He wants to go to San Antonio because why
wants
wouldn't
to?
he? Yeah, he wants to. It had said Miami and what other
Houston.
team? Yeah, Houston, but he wants San Antonio. The Timberwolves just offered Phoenix a package. I don't know if it's real or not, and if it is, I don't know why Phoenix hasn't said yes. Rudy Gobert, Dante DiVincenzo, Rob Dillingham, or Terrence Shannon, but you could convince them to give them both. It says and/or and the 17th pick in the draft.
Wow.
And take the deal.
That's a deal.
Rudy.
I'll censor myself out for that, but take the deal.
That's a hell of a
Rudy
deal.
Dante.
Can I say that?
Yeah,
Okay, that's a hell of a deal.
that's an incredible deal.
Yeah.
You're telling me you get a 4-time DPOY, an insanely good bench shooter,
Yeah.
along with 1 to 2 rookies that have insane upside.
Yes.
With, a mid first round pick just outside the lottery. Do it.
Yeah, I mean, because then Rudy would slide in to start center. You would bring Nas back in Minnesota. He'll slide in at center there. And then
Would Rob Dillingham start at point guard?
They don't have a point
They
guard,
don't
so
have a point
absolutely.
guard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yo, please make it happen. I need to see Rob start.
yeah, I mean, I don't know what San Antonio probably would offer around Vassell, Keldon Johnson, picks,
Man.
and I think Sohan. Yeah, Sohan probably as
Sohan's
well.
actually in Phoenix right now.
Yeah.
But that Phoenix lineup would be kind of cool. If you run any point guard, whether it's Rob or someone
Yeah.
else, Devin Booker,
Yeah.
and then
Gobert.
Gobert.
It wouldn't be a bad team at all.
Wouldn't be a bad
That'd
team.
that would be a playoff team.
They'd be better than they are now.
Yeah.
But and then if you're Minnesota, you get to keep J-Mac, and
Yep.
then. But the problem is you don't have a center anymore. I'd rather give up Randall because KD kind of does the same thing.
Yeah,
right.
but,
That's what's
but
right.
Nas
Right.
Nas replaces Rudy.
That's if they're able to keep Nas.
Yeah,
Because remember,
exactly.
the Nets
If you're
have
Phoenix-
way more cap space. They can offer him, and the Wolves might not match it.
If you're Phoenix, though, would you rather get Rudy Gobert or Julius Randle?
Phoenix is just trying to appease KD, so they're not going to trade him to Minnesota.
Well, okay.
But they're also
I understand that, but,
they're
like,
trying to trade KD,
hypothetically.
but they're also trying to find the best deal possible for them.
Right.
yeah.
So, based on that deal, would you rather have Rudy Gobert in Phoenix or Julius Randle in Phoenix? I think Randle would be the better option.
To me, it doesn't matter as long as you get someone that has upside. Like Terrence Shannon is someone I think that can take a leap playing next to Devin Booker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
and Dillingham.
think of it like when we traded Mikal Bridges. Yes, we got Bojan Bogdanovic back, but we don't care about that. We care about the future assets.
100%, yeah.
So Rudy's a good win now piece because he's already almost 30 or he's already 30.
Yeah.
You need someone under 25 that's raw and can take a leap. And that's exactly what the Thunder got with SGA. That's exactly what the Pacers are getting with Tyrese Haliburton. So you need stuff like that to kind of happen. And, the Nets didn't necessarily get that with Mikal Bridges, but we were able to flip him for 6 picks.
Yeah.
So yeah, bit of a crazy week already in this NBA almost off season.
Crazy off season coming up.
Just be on the lookout. Wednesday night, we will be streaming the entirety of the first round. We're not streaming the second round because who cares? And then Monday, June 30th, we're doing a mega stream for free agency. It's going to be very jump-like. We're going to just scout out the Shams tweets.
Yeah,
and
literally.
report on everything. We'll talk
You'll
about random
see
stuff.
the quick-fire reactions, the live reactions, which you guys all crave, because 2 days after, it's kind of be... You're not going to get our raw reaction.
Exactly.
You want to see that.
Maybe we could rotate on a bunch of guests and stuff like that over Zoom or whatever.
Yeah,
cool.
See.
So be on the lookout for that. And let's talk about the NBA Finals. Now, we talked about the first 3 games of the series last week. So if you want to go check that out, link down in the description to episode 61. Go watch it. You guys are showing a lot of love on that. So thank you for that. Today, we're going to talk about the latter part of the series, games 4 and 5. Obviously, by the time this comes out, game 6 will be that night. So could be the last game of the season, could not be. We don't know. So we'll talk about game 6 and a potential game 7 in the next episode when the series concludes. So let's talk about game 4. So obviously, just for easy context, the Pacers won games 1 and 3, and the Thunder punched back and won game 2. So it was 2-1 Pacers going into game 4. And it was very, very controversial 2 games we saw in the NBA. So obviously, the Pacers lost game 4 at it was game 4, right? They lost game 4 at home, 111 to 104, led by a 35-point performance from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We'll talk about game 4 first. So obviously, he had himself that kind of night. J-Dub finished with 27 points, and on the other end, 20 points for Pascal Siakam, and Tyrese Haliburton had 18 points, Nembhard with 10. So, I'll get to what I want to talk about later on in this segment. So I'll go to you guys first. Gia, what are your thoughts on game 4?
I didn't really watch this game until the fourth quarter. And I noticed that it was a close game. And I feel like there was a little bit lopsided in terms of the calls in this game.
Yeah.
Favoring OKC a little bit. Obviously, that's just me kind of being a little bit of a hater on SGA. That's okay.
I mean, him and J-Dub combined for 21 free throws.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
21. And then what about the Pacer guys?
Halliburton took his first ever free throws in the finals that game. So him and Siakam had 8, Halliburton had 3. So they combined for 11.
Okay, so pretty much doubled them.
Basically, them combined had the same amount of free throws as J-Dub.
I mean, yeah. I just wish the Pacers were able to close it out because it felt like a game that the Pacers should have won.
Yeah.
So, Anthony, what do you think?
Well, I was out watching this game, but, Michael Jordan had the flu game. Remarkable. When you have the flu, you go out there, leave it all on the court, and OKC has the foul game.
That's insane.
And you leave it all on the court still, but it's not as remarkable.
Yeah.
This game, I did not like at all one bit. They were, I don't even know what word to use, but OKC was getting fouls that probably would have been called in a preschooler game because preschoolers can't run with the ball and they're falling all over the place.
Wow.
I don't know what was going on. The referee just maybe had something wrong with his mouth and kept just blowing.
He's probably
blowing the whistle
sneezing
every 2 seconds.
Yeah, this flu game.
Yeah, I just didn't like it at all. And I know Tyler kind of predicted this, but it was just, if you had any reason to just show that OKC getting rigged to win, this game did show it a little bit. I just didn't like it as a
You think it was that obvious and blatant?
Oh, yeah. Scott Foster was the ref.
The fouls were so... I don't even have any words. Just literally insanity. I didn't watch Game 5 as much yesterday, but
we'll talk about Game 5 in a bit.
Well, yeah, but it was close. It was still a 7-point game.
It was a close game.
It was close, but I mean, if you take away those foul calls, I mean, J-Dub and SG had 21 free throws, as Tyler said, combined, and they had a total of 34 free throws total.
Yeah.
The Pacers only had 25 made free throws total. That's literally
Wow.
3 more than the combined total for 2 players.
What about the total for OKC?
OKC? I said made 34 free throws.
34. Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
more than half are from those 2 players.
Yeah.
Caruso was great.
He
That's
was great.
another thing.
What do you have? Like 20 points.
He had 20 off the bench.
But when
Outstanding.
when Caruso's able to defend and they're not calling it,
Yeah.
that's the problem when you get these lopsided physicalities. And it's like Caruso or anyone on the Thunder would just hack a
Dort.
Pacers player, and then it would be a soft call on SJ on the other end. And they made 3 threes that entire game. They had 1 3, I think, through the first 3 quarters.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sorry, but this is a game that OKC should have lost by 40. This was exactly what we saw in Game 3 when they played the Minnesota Timberwolves, but they were up 2-0, and they didn't care what happened. But here, your golden child SGA and the OKC Thunder are down 2-1 in a series. Newsflash, guys, it was going to go 6 anyways. Did you really think the Pacers were going to win Game 5 on the
Right.
road?
Right.
No, it clearly wasn't.
Yeah.
But, when Scott Foster's the referee, the series extender, he's done this numerous times. And he did it just in the last round when the Pacers played the Knicks in Game 3. The Knicks got a copious amount of calls in the second half, and it just completely put the Pacers out of the game. The Pacers did everything they needed to do to win that game.
Did they?
Scott Foster did not allow it. Because I know the Pacers did not play great down the stretch.
Yeah.
But what they did in the first 3 quarters alone, they should have been up by double digits at the very least. The
Okay.
fact that OKC still managed to be in this game was embarrassing. And we saw this against Denver in the second round, and we're seeing this now with Indiana. This OKC team is insanely mortal. They have so many flaws that get poked out by Denver and by Indiana.
OKC.
Yes.
Can you name a couple of these flaws?
The fact that they can't seem to have a lineup that works consistently. When they go small ball, Siakam eats. When they go double bigs, Hartenstein is rendered useless. And in certain circumstances, SGA and J-Dub aren't being efficient. They're not having these dominant 60% from the field. Someone tried to compare SGA's fourth quarter to what Steph Curry did back in 2022 when they were down 2-1 and the Warriors had an all-time game. But I'll tell you what, Steph Curry had 43 points. I think it was on like 14 to 26 from the field. SGA had 15 points in the fourth quarter, 8 free throws. What are we doing?
Yeah.
The last play he had that basically put the Pacers out of it, he literally arm bars Aaron Nesmith right in the throat. He pushed off so hard he almost fell over, and they didn't call it. And to me, that's the biggest issue with all of it.
Yeah.
And it's all Scott Foster. We'll talk about Scott Foster in a bit, but it was 104-103 Indiana with 2 minutes and 4 seconds left. Lou Dort shoves Tyrese Haliburton, and he turned the ball over, and they didn't call a foul.
Yeah.
And that was that. OKC never relinquished the lead again. That was a game they should have won. That was a game where if they had won, they would have won the NBA Finals. But now, whoever wins Game 4 in the Finals typically wins the series, unless you go up 3-0. And that was a game that OKC deserved to take. That Indiana deserved to take. And that was a game Indiana had stolen right from them, from the hands of Scott Foster. And to me, it was one of the most embarrassing NBA games I've watched in my entire life.
I get where you're coming from, Tyler, but I just don't like to put that much emphasis on the referees. I still feel like the Pacers still were able to win the game, even though maybe some of those calls are questionable. And I think there was a few of those calls where, okay, that's a legit foul. You know what I mean?
Right,
There's
there's gonna
plenty
be
of those calls.
yes.
I mean, obviously you're gonna have some bad calls, but I feel like that goes both sides for the most part.
Not in this
But I
series.
still feel like in this specific game, it was a little lopsided.
Yeah.
But that tends to happen throughout a 7-game series. One team gets favored more than the other, some certain games, right? And so I still feel like the Pacers, and like you said before, they played better for 3 quarters. And in the fourth quarter, I feel like they were more exhausted than anything else rather than calls not going their way. I think it was more exhaustion from them. That's why they didn't show up to really play and execute the way they did in the first 3 quarters. I still feel like they had a chance to win it. They were
Right.
just tired.
But what else did you want them to do? They're getting their ass kicked on the other end without a whistle. They're barely touching SGA and they're calling
So
fouls.
you're saying they're exhausted because they keep getting no calls and stuff like
look,
that.
Like in any other situation, the way the Pacers and Thunder played, that should have been a blowout. This game shouldn't have been close. And that's what's bothering me the most about this game. And the fact that the Pacers now have virtually no shot at winning an NBA championship because of this,
They can win 2 games in a row. It's not easy.
it's not easy.
No, it's not.
Definitely not easy.
When you're in a series tied 2-2 and you go down in Game 5, only 16% of the teams will win the series.
Right.
The odds are stacked heavily against them.
They are.
Yeah.
And to me, that wasn't any attempt at extending a series. That was an attempt at giving OKC the series.
Okay.
Because it was going 6 regardless.
I will also say, like, I have a bone to pick with SGA and J-Dub. I'm tired of free throws. Like, can we play actual basketball? Like, can you work on your jump shot? Can you work on your threes? Can you work on your close game? Can you work on your mid-range game? Like,
Jada popped
I
off.
mean, I understand, like, it's the way the NBA is now, and the foul calls are egregious. But
It's not on them. It's on the refs. Stop calling this shit.
yeah,
That's really it has nothing because they're gonna manipulate
advantage of it.
their advantages. They're gonna find the exploits, but
Yeah.
it's the refs that are doing all of this.
Yeah.
like I've like SGA's free throw scores are great. Like, he doesn't miss one, or he does miss one, and then his shooting percentages are literally awful because he can't make a shot.
Yeah,
like,
I think he had more, and there was a bunch of games where he had more free throws than field goals.
Yeah.
The Thunder are also 8-1 when he has more than 10 free throws,
yeah,
which is a humongous difference. And you notice the games they lose, he goes to the line 4 times, 5 times,
Yeah.
3 times, and that's you noticed. I think it was a game 3 or it was either game 1 or game 3. He went to the line like twice,
Yeah.
yeah.
and they got
You know
their
what?
ass kicked.
You know what Haliburton has to do?
What?
I think he has to start. You know, if you want to win, you gotta find a way to take advantage of the rules. You have to. I think he needs to get to the line more. I think he needs to attack more.
That's the problem. He does.
No,
Tyrese Haliburton has
he
one of.
does, but he does very ethically.
It's
If
not-
you know what I mean.
But it's not even that. He just has an awful whistle. They don't call shit. They genuinely don't call anything. Him
'Cause
and
he doesn't understand how to manipulate the defense in that way. He does attack, but it's usually to like pass,
Yeah,
kick
but
out.
there's players like Jokic and like Steph that do manipulate it properly, and they don't get the call. That's
Jokic
the
definitely gets
problem.
calls, man.
At some point, they have to blow the whistle, but Jokic has a horrible whistle. They barely call
This
fouls.
playoffs, I'm pretty sure he was leading free throws.
Well, that's because
until SGA beat him.
teams started quadruple teaming him, but the year they won the championship, he averaged 5 free throws a game.
Yeah,
He was barely going to the line.
yeah.
And the NBA only has a specific set of players they give the whistle to. SGA, Embiid, Harden, Trae Young, Donovan Mitchell, and Giannis.
I don't think it's that shallow. I think it's more so the NBA overall wants to give more whistles because they want to favor more offense. And I think it's been recorded in statistics that NBA games that have more points scored, there's more offense. The viewers are more happy, more satisfied. At least in the past. Maybe not now.
It's definitely not now.
Definitely not now, but at least in the past, this is what it was.
Yeah.
And therefore, they were like, okay, let's make these games higher scoring games to get the fans more, let's have them watch games. And so
Right.
that's why they started, not calling moving screens. Guess what happens when you don't call moving screens? It's impossible to play defense, bro. Literally impossible.
You know what?
I'm pretty sure I'm sorry, 1 second.
Good.
There was 59 moving screens, I heard someone say. 59 moving screens that were not called during that game 4 in OKC.
Yep.
No, in Indiana.
Yeah, the game 4 in
50.
India.
Yes.
59?
59 moving screens that should have been called that weren't
Yep.
called. So, I mean, that's why,
But
that's where it stems from. It's deeper than just like a few people that get the whistle. You know what I mean?
Indiana gets called for all the. Miles Turner got called for like three moving screens in like the past 2 games. And you'd see Lou Dort literally run into someone, flop, and they'll give them the call.
Yeah. So
it makes
it's stuff like
no
that.
sense.
It's stuff like that. I understand where you're coming from now because if you're going to call that on one side, you got to call on both sides.
just asking for
if you're not seeing it,
consistency here.
I understand.
What
that.
we saw
Consistency.
in Game 4 was an. I hope the NBA's proud of what they did. Seriously, like I hope Adam Silver's proud of what he did, because he ruined what was going to be an all-time great NBA Finals, and now it's just gone to nothing because of the agendas that are being pushed and the angles the games are being played and what's being called. And Game 4 was just the start. Do you want to talk about Game 5?
Before we get into Game 5, if this trend keeps, I have a little bold take. If this trend keeps going, and the fouls don't get better and the free throws, like SGA could lead to the abolishment of the free throw, and we completely just stop free throws. And when you get fouled outside, let's run this back 5v5.
I think Embiid and SGA might retire.
Could you imagine that?
That'd be
I mean,
that'd be crazy.
that's actual basketball, is it not?
I mean, Yes.
Yeah.
But you need free throws though.
You
I
need
feel
free
like.
throws. They're part of the game, but
Just call the game the right way.
I
the
think
game the right way,
The
yeah.
only way I think you get free throws if it's an and one.
Yeah, I think what the NBA needs to do is get a little more strict on offensive fouls. That will help. Yeah, like I said, moving screens. If they brush up on that,
yeah.
teams are not going to take advantage of the moving pick anymore because that obviously a moving pick opens up the offense insanely. By the way, if you didn't know that, watch him tape if you didn't know that. So if they brush up, and also the elbows that SGA is throwing, if they brush up on that stuff, start calling those things, I think it's going to be NBA will be in a better place.
Exactly.
Defenses will get better and all that stuff. So
let's talk about Game 5 in OKC. We kind of knew what was going to happen here. We knew who was going to win this game. And the Thunder wound up winning the game 120 to 119.
Yeah.
Jalen Williams had an all-time fourth quarter.
He did.
It was incredible. He's proved me wrong in that game. Congrats to him.
he always plays good at home though.
Yeah, 31 for SGA, but he had 14 free throws. Surprise, surprise. And yeah, on the Pacers end, unfortunately, Tyrese Haliburton got hurt at the start of the game, and this morning was just diagnosed with a right calf strain. So, yeah,
That could be wraps.
this could be wraps. Lou
Yeah.
Dort, man. Every person he guards gets hurt. I hate it.
It's a
Oh,
physical
man.
defender.
Very physical.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
thoughts on Game 5, Antoine?
Well, I mean, listen, J-Dub is the MVP of the finals. It's not SGA.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I like this.
I don't
like this.
It is J-Dub.
Wait, that's a
and
crazy statement.
I am on the J-Dub hype train for a long time. Tyler was calling for this guy's butt last series.
Hey, yo,
and
no, not that body part.
Hey, yo.
I literally said there is no way you ever trade this man away. This guy is gonna blossom into a superstar. You need.
Did you
time.
really say that, bro?
No, but
No, you didn't say it.
I told him, I said, there's no way you trade J-Dub.
All right, you
Absolutely
did say that.
not.
I said
you
if you-
don't trade him.
I said you trade him if you don't win a championship.
No, this guy is like a star in the making. Like, I'm sorry. Like, even better than, more star level than
Even better than SGA.
That's
100,
Dude.
100%.
You're
I am
ridiculous.
crazy
That's,
right now.
That's crazy. SGA shooting 50% from the field.
On free throws. Anyway, but yeah, just J-Dub is phenomenal. I think he's my MVP regardless.
You're insane.
I am 10 o'clock on a Monday, Tuesday night. We are insane.
You know what SGA's averaging?
Balls to the wall saying this
I just looked it up.
for J-Dub.
Do you know what SGA's averaging in the finals?
I really don't.
He's
care.
averaging like 34.
32.4.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
half of
J-Dub's averaging 25.
Okay, but half of those half
Both
of
of
those
them shoot a bunch
half
of
of those
free throws.
But
points are on free throws.
here's the thing, Gio. It was 2-2 going into Game 5. In Games 5, 6, and 7, if J-Dub outplays SGA, he's going to win Finals MVP.
No, he's not gonna. He's
If
not
it
gonna
comes
do
down-
do you know
if it-
why? They're triple teaming SGA. They're guarding him all the way into the backcourt, therefore allowing J-Dub to be open.
Sounds like a skill issue to me, to be honest.
Dude, he's getting triple teamed.
Bro,
in the
it was
backcourt.
actually-
in the backcourt.
It was actually kind of funny seeing SGA stands on Twitter, like crying on the timeline last night. If SGA doesn't get Finals MVP, they're going to be so sad and
Oh my
salty.
God.
He should
Cry
get
me
it.
a-
He
cry
should
me a
absolutely
river.
get it. And I'm not even a big fan of SGA,
That'd
but
be
he
hilarious.
should
Wait,
absolutely.
no, you know who the MVP award goes to? The guys in the black and silver.
Scott Foster, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Guys
let's be
in the
fair.
black and
Scott
silver.
Foster is the reason why the Thunder are going to win the Finals. So,
If J-Dub outscores SGA in this next game,
Also,
I'll give it to J-Dub.
if the Thunder win Game 6 and Adam Silver comes on the court and he hands SGA the MVP, where he's like, "No, you take it, Adam Silver. You take it. This is for you."
That's insane.
yeah, I mean, obviously, we saw a lot from this game.
Yeah.
But, J-Dub played fantastic.
Yeah.
And look, we have to just give one final bit of praise to TJ McConnell and Pascal
Yeah.
Siakam. The two of them last night. I don't know why McConnell wasn't on the floor in the fourth quarter, but my goodness, the two of them are hooping out of their minds. I mean, the way TJ McConnell at his height is just blowing by guys, hitting spin moves on SGA, and it's just beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
And it really is it's really a shame that Haliburton's injured, because you can really tell that he's just not moving right at all. And he said it's the finals. He's going to try and play.
Of course.
And
That's so
it's a
tough.
once in a lifetime opportunity to play in the finals. You don't know if you're ever going to get back there.
Of course.
So tough.
And it's tough. And I firmly believe that if Haliburton never got hurt, the Thunder would have lost the series. Because he started feeling something after game 2.
Yeah, he did.
And he must have re-aggravated it.
I
in
think
game 5.
I think if it's bad, Hallie should sit. I think him being out there injured only makes the Pacers a little bit worse. I think you start TJ McConnell. I think if you do that, you have a better chance to win.
I don't even know if I'd start TJ McConnell. I'd still bring him off the bench.
Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe start Ben Shepherd or something like that.
Yeah, start someone else.
Yeah, or Mathurin or something.
Start Nembhard at the point.
Nembhard at the
Put in
point,
someone
Mathurin
else.
at the 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like
That's
that.
what I would
think
do.
you do that.
Mathurin's also been giving
He's
up
been
donuts since the 27
Not donuts,
game.
but he's been doing.
Mathurin probably had the worst 25 seconds in Game 4 of his life. Like,
What'd he do?
He went 1 on 4 from the line.
Oh man,
Obi Toppin looks 12
been good.
points in Game 5, 17 in Game 4.
he's been good.
He's been a little inefficient from 3, but
That's always a thing with him.
Yeah.
That's
Other
always been
than
an
that,
issue.
he's solid.
but we noticed the same thing happen in Game 5 as we did in Game 4. The Pacers almost did it again. They got the lead down to 2,
Yeah,
and then SGA got called. TJ McConnell got called for a foul in SGA on a jump ball.
well, that was a foul. If you
Doesn't
look at
matter if that was the other way around. The ref would have been looking anywhere else.
it, yeah, maybe you're right.
Like, do you
But
realize how
at the-
crazy that is? Fouling on a jump ball. In 2023, the game where Jokic had 53 against the Suns, there was a jump ball with a minute left. DeAndre literally pulled down on his shoulder. Jokic
Yeah.
couldn't even jump,
Yeah.
and they didn't call a foul.
Yeah,
Like, it's crazy. It seemed that every time Indiana would go on a run, the Thunder would get 4 or 5 free throws.
yeah. It feels like whenever SGA has the ball, the magnifying glasses come out. To see all the little tiny touches. But at the end of the day, they are fouls. But the refs are definitely looking a lot harder when SGA has the ball. That's very true.
Yeah.
So
And we're going to get a lot of hate from
Yeah.
Thunder fans on this, but you know what? To be quite honest with you, the refs have been heavily bailing them out this series.
Yeah.
I personally
I
wouldn't
think
say heavily, but I would
recently,
say
yes.
it's a little lopsided. I would say.
And it's been in the 2 most important games in the series. Because if Indiana won Game 4, series was over. That's
You
the
know
worst
what was
part.
crazy? When Indiana went up 2-1, my coworker was like, OKC's winning the next 3. I said, there's no way they're winning 3 games.
I
in a
mean, I
row.
did say OKC in 6 in this
And
game.
now
Yeah.
it's looking likely if they win on Thursday night in Indy, though, which is tough.
We just, I mean, look,
know.
as long as you get an extender ref, like, I'm curious to see now. If Adam Silver truly wants us to go 7, we'll see the refs favor Indiana. But I guarantee you, because Indiana's the one that's down in the series, they're not going to do that. They're going to put in any random ref, and however the game goes, the game goes.
So let's do predictions.
A random ref is crazy.
Yeah.
Who's a random ref?
Well, just they're not going to look for a specific, like Scott Foster, for example.
So who would do a game 7? Like
guy-
Scott
It's,
Foster?
it's one. This is 1,000% going to be Knicks fan Zach Zarba
Game
in
7?
Game 6.
How about
then-
game 7? Who would do game 7?
Whoever's not in the rotation, it really could be anyone. I don't know how the
rando.
NBA works.
Okay.
So
as long
as it's not Scott Foster, then we'll be good.
all we know is that physicality favors OKC. Like, so if it's a physical game and the refs allow physicality, it favors OKC, and also a strong whistle also favors OKC. That's why this is such a hard series to ref, and that's why OKC has the advantage, and that's why we feel like it's been heavily lopsided for the refereeing.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
let's close off on our last ever predictions
Yeah,
of
well,
the season.
last ever. That's
For
it
the-
is
for the
last
season.
ever. You're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's last ever because then by the time next week, it's going to be a brand new 2025-2026 offseason.
You're right.
So let's start with the one who was wrong, because you said Thunder in 5. That can no longer happen. So
Didn't I say Thunder in 7 last time?
Stop capping, bro.
No, Thunder
you-
in 7.
you had changed it afterwards, but we're going based off our original
OG.
predictions.
OG, yeah.
So you said Thunder in 5. That can't happen. So what's your new prediction? What happens now?
It's going to be Thunder in 6.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I think that's how it's going to be.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm standing on business, standing on my original take. Thunder in 6.
That's actually good for Indiana then,
Why?
because you are a human jinx.
And then
I always fall for him. I'm always like, why?
J-Dub is Finals MVP.
He's not gonna be. It's gonna be SGA Finals MVP. He's gonna have like 35 plus points in Game 6.
Let's see.
Look,
But Tyler, what do you think? Indiana in 7, bro.
So I said Pacers in 7 at the start of the series. It's like the whistle the Knicks had against Indiana was so bad. I genuinely did not think it could get worse than this, and it somehow got worse. In the Knicks series last year, it was tied 2-2 going into Game 5. The Knicks won Game 5, and then Indy won the last 2. The Thunder are a better team than the Knicks. But it's so tough because now that Haliburton is injured,
Yeah. Yeah.
I just don't know.
Yeah.
I honestly have no idea. This is gonna be such a tough call for me.
Go with the gut, man.
I will be upset if he is out for game 6 and it's a blowout from like the first quarter.
I think if anything's gonna be a blowout, it'll be Game 7.
Even worse.
Game 7 will be the blowout.
Yeah, even worse because that's
But-
the best game of the series.
Look, man, I tweeted out in June when Pascal Siakam, when they were rumored of giving him the extension, I said they could make the finals if they stay healthy.
Yeah.
It's so tough for me. I've stuck with them for so long.
Oh, wow.
It hurts to
Don't do
hop
it.
off of that.
Don't do it.
And because Halliburton's injured, it's so tough.
But they got all those guys that could possibly step up.
I'm a big believer
Uh-huh.
of karma is a bitch.
Ooh.
And I always believe in good basketball karma. And we saw Rick Carlisle the other day try and defend Scott Foster. It was the most, it was the dumbest thing he could have done because he just got even more shafted in Game 5. I think if the whistle's this bad, like Joel Embiid never prospers in the second round. And I've always been firm on my stance that free throw merchants shouldn't win NBA titles, even though they're probably going to this year. But because I've stuck with them for so long, shout out Young Simba because he told me to believe. I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop believing here. I'm gonna go down with the ship. I'm going out swinging. The Pacers are winning Game 6 and they're winning Game 7.
Dude. I'm sorry. Can we upload that clip of you just saying that? Because that was just insane. Yo, that was crazy. We got to upload just that clip, 50 seconds, whatever that was, because, bro, I love it, bro.
The only thing I am
Stand on business,
The only
bro.
thing I am going to change is Siakam gets Finals MVP because there's no chance Haliburton's scoring over 10 points in these next 2
Yeah,
years.
no.
They're going to need someone to replicate that. I don't know how the hell they're going to do this,
Yeah.
but Pacers in 7.
I love it, bro.
Do it.
Stand on that, bro.
This
Bro, I want them to do it. But
No, please root for the Thunder, please.
no, listen, I'm definitely rooting for the Pacers. Are you kidding me? I
No,
just don't think
because root for the Thunder so the Pacers win.
it's impossible.
It needs to
How
happen.
about this? I won't watch the game, okay?
Hey,
Wait,
If Indy wins game 6, I think the probability for game 7 for them gets up a lot higher. I honestly do. If they take game 6.
I don't know about that, but it's tough because the series is going just like it did against Denver.
Mm-hmm.
The Thunder lose game 1, win game 2, lose game 3, win games 4 and 5, lose game 6, and then they win game 7 in a blowout.
Okay. Yeah.
So I honestly don't know. It's been a long time since we've had a game 7 in the finals. It's been 9 years.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a blowout in Game 6. Sorry,
For who?
Thunder blowout, Pacers.
Yeah, well,
Game 6.
I could see that happening easily.
Yeah.
So
Oof.
we'll just have to see, man.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to any of this.
Yeah, I mean, we'll know what happens next week, obviously, because
Yep.
the series will be over. And then we're going to look back on this and be like, all right.
So please, Indy, just lock the F
Yep.
in tonight, please. At least just force a game 7, please.
Yeah,
just
just for
do
the
it.
fun of it.
Just
Wait, they
for the
play
fun.
tonight?
Well, when
It'll
this
be
episode comes
Thursday.
out.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Thursday, yeah.
So yeah, that wraps up our sort of finals recap. And in the next segment, we're bringing back shower thoughts. I got a good question for y'all.
Oh, I love it.
So let's get into it. Alrighty, it's the next day. As I mentioned previously, we were going to talk about a shower thoughts question about the series, but major breaking news happened about an hour before we were going to start recording. So we have to talk about this instead. We'll talk about the shower thoughts next week. So we'll put the tweet on the screen from Shams Charania. The Buss family is entering an agreement to sell majority ownership of the Los Angeles Lakers to Mark Walter, the CEO and chairman of a diversified holding company, TWG Global, sources tell ESPN. Jeanie Buss will continue to serve in her new role as the governor after the sale, kind of like what Mark Cuban did in the transition when the Adelsons, I think, bought the Mavs.
Okay.
But he wanted to quote tweet his own tweet saying, Mark Walter is entering an agreement to purchase majority ownership of the Lakers from the Buss family for a valuation of approximately $10 billion. The the largest sale of a professional sports franchise in the world of all time in history. And that was for a majority stake. So we're talking like that could be anything from 51% to likely 65, 70, depending on, how much equity the buses had originally.
Wow.
So absolutely massive, just kind of blew everything out of the water. Some other stats before we get over to y'all's thoughts. We saw, obviously, the Groospec sold the Celtics for $6.1 billion. And we just saw Mark Cuban sell his stake in the Mavs for $3.5 billion. What's even crazier is that the Buss family purchased the Lakers in 1979 for $67.5 million. And they just sold it for $10 billion.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
Well, they majority stake. I probably would have been for a little more if it was the whole team.
I mean, I can tell you Dolan's probably looking at this right now, thinking like I could sell the entirety of the Knicks for 25 easily.
Wow.
That's insane. So what are y'all's thoughts?
First of all, I disagree with that last statement. I think the Lakers brand of basketball, like their brand, the Laker brand is bigger than the Knicks brand.
The Knicks, I think, still have a higher valuation.
Do they?
Yes. I
That's
believe the
actually
Knicks are the
surprising.
highest valued basketball
We could look
team.
that up.
Yeah, check that because
Yeah.
I feel like the Lakers.
Yeah, I think the Knicks are a little higher.
Well, the Lakers probably just jumped them because of how much the equity went for.
Yeah.
But, according to the Forbes lists, the Golden State Warriors actually might be above the Knicks now after
Yeah.
everything of that nature.
I would think so.
But, they're all kind of, the Warriors are worth $9 billion. The Knicks are worth 7.7.
Yeah.
So the Lakers are going to vault to the top, as
Right.
they always do. So
And the Celtics are probably above the Knicks as well.
no, the Knicks are number 2.
Oh, the Knicks are number 2.
Yeah, the
okay.
Celtics are
Yeah.
4. But what are y'all's thoughts?
Oof. I mean, listen, you got to cash in eventually because, things always go up in price, especially in sports. And a little backstory, what's his name? Mark Walters?
Yeah.
Mark Walters is also the owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers. So he's literally doing a clean sweep of the Los Angeles teams right now, besides the Rams because they're owned by the Kroenkes, like the Nuggets are.
Well, because they were originally in
Yeah.
they played in LA, but they were in St.
yes,
Louis
correct.
for all those times.
Yes. So
Wow.
the Dodgers, just so you know for reference, don't care about money. They pay everybody. So but this is the only difference that is that the NBA will penalize them for overpaying because of the aprons. MLB does not have that yet. They only have luxury tax, which is anything
Yeah.
at all. So the NBA owner coming in now is going to have some little issues with that. Maybe he'll go over the aprons. Who cares? Maybe he'll do that. But he'll lose draft
Well, you're
capital, right?
You're dealing with a totally different league because MLB is a league. The NBA is an association, so the players have a lot more power than a league system would work, and they're not going to allow like Giannis to sign for a $700 million contract and they defer
Exactly.
600 of it
Yeah.
till 2041. That's just
Yeah.
not how it's going to work.
Yeah.
So there will be adjustment periods, and that's mainly a Todd Bowley thing with the deferred money.
Yep,
When he bought Chelsea,
exactly.
he's signing guys to like prison length contracts. It's insane. So
Remember that.
crazy. But Gia, what are your thoughts on
Yeah.
on this massive breaking developing story?
Yeah. I'm just very surprised that Jeanie Buss would do this. I feel like the Buss family, they've owned the Lakers for how long?
Since 1979 was when they
Yeah.
bought the team.
Yeah, so it's kind of surprising. They kind of built this brand, this Laker basketball brand that, kind of carry the NBA or half carry the NBA. So I'm just surprised. Maybe the current owners as of now couldn't really handle the burden that that you have to be able to handle to be in ownership and full ownership of a team. Maybe that's what it was, but
I think I may have
Just
found the
surprised.
reason.
yeah.
So if I can put this on the screen, I will. It's a Reddit thread from r/NBA saying, why are the Buss family selling the Lakers? And my dad had been talking to me about this before I left to come here, saying that there are siblings in the family. And obviously, Jerry Buss, their father, passed away in 2013. So when someone passes away, you deal with, who's on the will,
Yeah.
what trust goes to what, everything like that. You get the life insurance policies, all that stuff. And it said, might be because of how their trust is set up. If any of the 6 Buss kids dies, that share in the trust gets evenly divided amongst the surviving siblings. It's basically like Darwinism, the last man standing, survival of the fittest, stuff like that. It's all going to end up in Joey and Jesse's hands, who I imagine are, the siblings or the kids of Jeanie Buss, because I don't know what their family's tree is like because I'm just not a creep.
Yeah.
But that could be a big factor. And I know my dad said there was disputes between the siblings in the Buss family. Maybe they just wanted to just take the money and run at this point.
Wow.
Because think about it, if more loss comes down the line, it's really it could divide families. That's how drama starts. Money literally is, money's everything.
The root of all evil.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, listen, Jeanie can cash in. She's still going to have her job. A lot of sports teams go through family stuff. I'm a Yankee fan. I see it myself every day with our owner, which is, of course, the son of George Steinbrenner, who was one of the greatest owners to ever live. And he's not the same as his father was. So we always trash him every day, whenever he does something wrong.
What's his name?
Hal, yeah. He's not as ruthless as his father was. He's more of the business side of baseball, and we don't like that.
George is the reason why these athletes make this kind of money.
Yeah, that's true.
Because those baseball players back in the day would have to work 2 jobs.
Yeah.
Because they were getting paid normal salary, like 10, 20, 30K a year, depending on what you were doing.
Yeah, I mean, we can go off a lot of teams that have family ownership just because how it is.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about the Bus family, but
Yeah.
I'm sure however old they are, if they're within our age or a little older, there may be some disputes about who gets what when Jeanie Buss moves on, or even maybe she didn't want to sell it to them. Maybe she thought they were unfit to run this team when she passes on.
I'll tell you what, if I was in the Bus family, they wouldn't have sold it.
Well,
tell you why.
Gonna keep that.
Huh?
You were just gonna keep that forever.
Yeah, bro. We're locking it in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This the family business.
and doing everything right.
It's too bad it wasn't
Yeah.
Giovanni Bus. You know what I mean? Lakers would have still been the Bus family.
Yeah, I mean,
You would have signed Russell Westbrook to a supermax contract.
No, we would have drafted him.
But did you like Russ in college? Or?
I did.
Oh, okay, fair.
UCLA guy.
You're a true Russ stan, as you will.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I'm also surprised at Mark Walters.
Walter.
Mark
What does he do? Because he already owns a team. He's going big time, isn't he?
Well,
2 teams
look-
in LA. That's big time.
Look at Denver, for example. You have four big 4 sports teams, right? You have the Nuggets, you have the Rockies, you have the Broncos, and you have the Avalanche.
Mm-hmm.
The Avalanche won a title in 2022. The Nuggets won in 2023. The Broncos are starting to play good now, but they were in purgatory for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And the Rockies are on pace to be the worst MLB team in history.
Yep.
What do you specifically notice, Antoine, about those 4 teams?
Oh, about those.
Because there's one clear-cut reason as to why.
Why the Rockies are so bad?
No, of why are the Rockies and Broncos, why are they struggling, and why are
Oh, the ownership's awful.
exactly? Because the Cronkies own the Nuggets and the Avalanche. They don't own the Rockies or the Broncos. So when you see a team that's maybe struggling, and the Lakers have always been struggling since the early dynasty days and everything like that, since the 2010s kind of came about, they did win the 1 championship, but LA is supposed to be this big time market with the best sports teams ever. Look at New York. We've seen 2 smaller teams win titles in the past decade. We haven't seen a Big 4 team win since the 2012 or 2013 Giants. So
Yeah.
shout out to Liberty and shout out NYCFC, but
Yeah.
the casual fans unfortunately don't care about that, and that's the worst part. So with LA, obviously the Dodgers are one of the premier teams in the MLB. The Lakers should be back up in that situation. I think Walter sees that, and he wants to try and make his mark on it. And who else is there? The Kings haven't done anything for a while. And what's the other? Who am I missing? Oh, the Rams and the Chargers.
The Rams and the Chargers.
The Rams. I haven't watched football in so long.
The Rams won a
they
Super Bowl
won a
back
Super
in
Bowl, yeah.
2019, 2020.
So
They're mid right
yeah,
now.
you're a hater, so it's fine.
No, they actually are.
But they are now. But
But
They
I mean,
weren't.
yeah, so this is him basically trying to build the Lakers up as the next dynasty. And that's
Yeah.
what, that would basically make the NBA thrive. Because it's clear the Nets and Knicks aren't going anywhere anytime soon. It's clear the Clippers keep
Yeah.
getting stuck in their own mess.
And, it is smart on Jeanie Buss's part to sell to someone in her own backyard that knows the market and media very well.
And Magic Johnson's got part stake in the Dodgers too, so it makes sense.
It's a whole celebrity group that is made up of a lot of people that all have stake in it. So just keep it keep it with Mark Walters clearly right now for a long time, because he's been branding the Dodgers really good for a long time, and now the Lakers will probably do the same.
Yeah.
And maybe build a team that is going to be like them.
So he's good with baseball. So let's see how good he is with basketball.
He's
See if
very
it translates.
He's good with baseball, but what he's doing in baseball will not be tolerated in the NBA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's restrictions on the cap and everything like that.
Right.
You can't defer contracts in the NBA.
Right.
You basically have the option to either split it completely down the contract length. So if you sign, let's say you sign 4-year, $80 million, you're either getting paid 20 mil per year. You can front load it where you get most of your money in the first year, like Nick Claxton's contract, and you get less and less as it goes on because players want the most guaranteed money possible. Or you do what most players do. You sign 4 years for 80 mil. Let's say you make, say you make 10 mil your first year, then you make 15, and then it just keeps climbing on up. That's why Cat is going to be making 66 mil in 2027.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I'm also curious about the motivations behind Mark Walters buying the Lakers. Like, what is he trying to do? Take over the city of LA?
Basically.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
imagine saying you own two professional sport. Like, I own the Lakers and the Dot. Like, could you imagine?
The two bigger teams in LA.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then, but like if like you're him and Jeanie Buss calls you saying, "Hey, I want to sell the team." Like you're the only person I want to sell it to. Like,
Yeah.
let's
Right.
get talking. Like, what do you want? Like, what's going on?
Right.
You're not gonna say no.
No. And
That's the thing.
you want LA
Pretty
to
crazy.
be, there are other things too that could factor in. I'm just thinking hypothetics here, but, MetLife Stadium got the World Cup final.
Yeah.
He's probably pissed the hell off that SoFi's not getting it.
They should get it.
Yeah,
He wants LA to be the big marquee city. But, at this current moment in time, it's not. Not that New York really is either, because the finals in Jersey are our backyard.
Yes.
But I
Jersey.
exactly. So I can understand that part if that is true, but it's just me assuming things. But there's definitely a lot of reasons as to why they wanted to do this. And for Jeanie Buss, I guess she just felt now was the right time, and I can't judge her for that.
Yeah.
It's not my money.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
you won't know what you have until it's gone. And at the end of the day, $10 billion is objectively insane. And this is just the beginning. With this new TV contract, could you imagine, I can't even imagine the next big team that gets sold. Like if Joe Tsai sells the Brooklyn Nets, it's not going to go, I don't think it'll go for 10, but the whole franchise might go for 10 because Brooklyn isn't a big market. And it would be insane depending on how that works out.
Yeah.
So obviously, congratulations to Mark Walter. Congratulations to the Buss family. And, let's see how long Rob Pelinka's leash is now.
That is true.
So we'll have to see.
He's
But
out of there.
I don't know. They just signed
could
him they just signed him to an extension.
He's
So
gone.
Yeah.
we'll have to see.
Yeah.
But do we have any sort of final thoughts, questions, comments, concerns?
No.
Nah.
All right, let's get into our playoff awards. Into the main segment. Welcome to the Floor Spacers 2025 NBA Playoff Award Show. Now, we've done this a few times on the channel. We obviously did our predictions at the start of the season. We did last year's awards at the end of the season, and we did it this year and midway through the season. A bunch of episodes, we've done some awards, and we're doing it again. So basically, we have pretty much all the normal awards. We have a couple tweaks here and there. For just specifically the 2025 playoffs. The criteria was how did you do in the playoffs when it mattered the most? And that will kind of be that. We'll go through all the ones like MVP, Rookie of the Year, DPOY, all NBA teams, all that stuff. And there's one new award that we put on here as well that should be an award anyways, but hopefully one day Adam Silver comes to his senses. But do y'all have any sort of questions, comments, concerns before we sort of dive right in? Is there anything else you want to mention about what criteria you added? Anything?
No. Yeah, let's go.
All right. So on the screen right now, you'll see our poster that I just made 5 minutes ago.
Very
Tough.
nice.
Award.
It is nice.
Thank
I like
you.
it.
Yeah, it looks good. Maybe we can make our new logo out of
What
that
font
sort
is
of
that?
font.
We could.
I don't even know. I can check afterwards.
It's a nice font.
But so yeah, we're obviously going to start off with the most obvious award, and it's also the most valuable award, the MVP, the most valuable player. Now, this is the award for the player that was the overwhelming majority best player throughout the entirety of these past 2 months. And quite fitting enough, all three of us went for the Aura Man himself, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's the biggest no-brainer out of all of them right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Yeah, I don't know what else we have, but
Yeah, I mean, you're the one that's talking about Jada being Finals MVP.
yeah, but we know it's going to him.
But I mean,
so.
the Finals MVP, to be fair, is just one specific series.
You're right. You're right.
This is how did you do in the entirety of the playoffs? And
Yeah.
he was great against Memphis. Not that really, not that big of an accomplishment, but he really clutched up in games 4 and 5 against Denver. Was great against Minnesota, and obviously is just playing in his usual typical best
Yeah.
against the Pacers.
Yeah.
So is there anyone else that you kind of had in contention with SGA?
I mean, second place I had Jokic, but
It would be J-Dub. Not J-Dub. Hallie.
Yeah, I think Jokic or
Yeah,
Hallie. It
Hallie
really just
was-
depends.
Yeah, wait. Let me pull my list.
I'll put Siakam over Hallie.
I think I had Hallie.
Well,
in second.
Siakam did get the conference finals MVP, which is fair. You sent it to me on iMessage. If you can just look back at our text chain, yeah.
Hold on.
But I mean, for me, it was like someone had made a great point about it earlier. It was like Giannis played the best, Jokic did the best, but SGA's just kind of gone the farthest
Yeah.
and has been consistent.
Yeah.
And Haliburton, while he hasn't been the most consistent, he's shown up literally in the seconds when it matters the most
Yeah.
and has gotten his team to this moment. And you can make the same argument for Siakam as well. You can also even talk about J-Dub because he did play. He was probably the best Thunder player on the floor in Game 7 against the Nuggets and was the best player last night against the Pacers.
Yeah, I had Hallie second, Giannis third.
Okay, yeah, Giannis is the only reason why I couldn't factor Giannis into this is because he only played 5 games.
I know, but still.
I mean, I did put Giannis here, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think he deserved to be number 3.
Okay.
Because he didn't play enough.
That's fair.
I
Yeah.
understand that, but
It really comes down to what do you prioritize
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
regard to this. But, I mean, as much as it pains me to say this, SGA has been the best player of this playoffs.
Indeed.
So,
Yeah, let's move on.
yeah, let's rock.
yep. So let's get on to Rookie of the Playoffs. So
This is easy.
this is not first-year players. These are players that are playing in the playoffs for the first time. So there's obviously a whole world of candidates. Obviously, brand new teams like the Pistons and Rockets have made the playoffs with this current era. So who have we gone with? Again, we're all in agreement, boys. We've all gone for Cade Cunningham.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't close. I mean, I put Amen Thompson second. He did really good, but it wasn't close to Cade in the first series with the Knicks because he almost sent us home, and, that's all she wrote. That's literally it.
The dialogue would have been insane if he did.
Yeah, it would have been.
So you're a big Cade guy, Gio. I know.
Yeah, I'm a pretty.
I know you're
yeah.
decently high on Cade. Do you have any sort of like predictions on the near future of his career? Where can his game take him?
I'm not sure about Cade sometimes. I feel like part of me, my gut feeling is that this is his ceiling,
Okay.
and he may not improve that much from here, but also part of me is like, his potential is pretty high. He's 6'7" guard. He's a big guard. And if he can work on his shooting, develop his shooting, I think he can be unstoppable.
Well, let me
So-
give you an anecdote here.
Yeah.
Who's another 6'7" point guard that gets away with a lot of push-offs and arm bars?
SGA.
So that might be a good cause for Cade down the line.
Yeah.
We don't know really how good his whistle is because you played against a team that has a generational whistle.
Right.
So I guess we'll kind of get more of a sense for that next season when the Pistons are on more national television games
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For me, it was really down to Cade was the clear winner, but I factored in Şengün
Yeah.
because I thought he was, while he didn't play overwhelmingly great, he was probably the most consistent Rocket in that series.
Very solid.
I thought Amen Thompson was great defensively. He offered you close to nothing offensively in most of that series.
Same thing with the Sor.
Yeah, same thing with Asar. The one game they utilized him well, they won, and then they just kind of went away from that. And I didn't like the way that sort of transpired. But those two were going to be quick. They were going to be easy. So you ready to get into the next award?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Defensive Player of the Playoffs. So this is
Yeah.
the DPOY for this season's postseason, whatever you want to call it. Really wide open. I'll tell you right now, all three of us have gone for something different.
I know who you picked. Nemhard.
Well, you have to find out
I
in just
know.
a moment. But, there's a lot of choices that you can go with here. We'll talk about them once we reveal it. So here are the choices. So Gio was correct.
What the heck?
I did go with Andrew Nemhard. Anthony went with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for whatever reason.
What
and
is
then
going through your mind?
and then Gio has gone for Alex Caruso.
Yeah.
So
If I'm being honest, I should wait.
SGA, bro.
I didn't change it for you. I should have sent you a changed one.
yeah, because you sent me SGA's name was first, so I just
Yeah,
bumped myself
but-
for that.
Yeah, this should have been changed actually.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Who would you have put?
He's not even on my list.
Because a follow up to Tyler was I didn't know that many defensive and this should have been changed.
Yeah.
Caruso was third, so probably Caruso.
Who was second?
Facts.
J Dub.
Caruso's better than J-Dub
Yeah.
defensively.
It
so
probably would have been Caruso.
that's totally
was a
fair.
Yeah.
Dog
Nemhard-
on defense.
Nemhard is
Starting
there.
1 through 5. Did Nembhard guard 1 through 5? No. Did he do a great job on 1 through 3? Absolutely.
Look, he may have Alex Caruso could guard 1 through 5, but Andrew Nembhard literally guarded every number 1 option he faced and did one hell of a job.
So does Caruso.
Not all the time.
Well, for the most part, it's just that
he guarded Jokic for 1
Lou Dort is also an outstanding defender, so it's like,
Right. Lou Dort probably should win it over Caruso.
no way. Why? Because he injures the other players?
Look, according to the masses, he doesn't. But according to specifically angled and skewed minds, you are correct. But in the broad scheme, in me trying to be objective, he's a better defender than Caruso.
I completely disagree.
I disagree with. I mean, I disagree with the two. I would probably prefer Caruso, but if you're looking at the scope of the entire playoffs, Dort's probably got the better defensive numbers.
I would say Dort probably more.
Yeah, look how he just is like riding with the wave.
Well,
Whatever the
He just
fans
changes
say.
every single time.
Yeah,
I would say
no,
Dort
Alex
was a little
Caruso.
better than Caruso.
Yeah, right.
A little bit better, but
Yo,
Caruso
stand
had
on
more-
business, bro.
Oh my God, you're so awful at this game.
It's not a game.
But yeah, I would put Andrew Nembhard just above
I'm not mad at it.
Caruso. More
Yeah.
so for the fact that this is the first time all his career I've seen SGA visibly bothered by a defender. Like he got inside his head in the 2 games they lost, really just the whole series. And I thought he's taken that leap on both ends.
Yeah, he's
but
been a dog.
defensively specifically, he's always been great.
Yeah.
So I kind of have to give it to him. That SGA take is wild.
Yeah.
That is objectively insane.
It was a mistake, though, so we'll let it
Yeah, we'll let it slide. So we'll give you a pity Caruso pick.
Yeah.
So, all right, you ready to get into the next award?
Let's go.
Let's get into the most improved player. Now, this is someone that in the playoffs the previous season stunk up the gaff, and this year they proved the doubters wrong. They showed up, they played great, and, worked out in a deep run, hopefully. So who have we gone for, you ask? These are our picks. We've all gone for 3 different players. So Gio has gone for Jalen Williams, Anthony has gone for Tyrese Haliburton, and I have gone for Julius Randle.
Yeah. You know what? Now thinking about it, Julius Randle was the second on my list, but thinking about his history, he should be the most improved. But I'm not mad at my pick though. I think J-Dub is a worthy most improved player.
Look, he was dreadful against Dallas last year. I
Yeah.
fully support your pick.
Yeah.
But I watched he's my witness. Antoine is my witness. This man, Julius Randle, voluntarily single-handedly shot the Knicks out of 3 playoff series in his career.
Sorry, buddy.
So the
We'll
fact,
see how he is next year.
yeah, where do you think he's going to play?
I have no idea.
I think he's out of
He's out of
I think he's out
Minnesota.
of Minnesota.
I mean, if the Suns wind up accepting that Minnesota package, Randle has to stay, right?
he doesn't have to. They can keep
They can keep
Gobert.
Gobert, move
and
Randle.
Move
No,
Randle.
but
yeah.
the trade is Gobert, not Randle.
But they can always swap it out, which
I don't
they
think
should if they
could.
want to do that.
Phoenix won't do that because Randle's out of contract and Gobert's locked in for another
Okay.
4 years.
Well,
Plus, they need a center because Nurkic was awful and they traded him. So
And Nick Richards is not even better.
yeah, more curious about the Haliburton pick for you because I thought he was good last playoffs. He just got hurt.
Booty cheeks. No, I think he improved a lot more from last year. Just from the eye scope of things. I mean, J-Dub is in there too for me as well. Cade probably shouldn't be in there because he wasn't in the playoffs last year, and I put that. And then
funny.
Randall was in the playoffs last year for who? Us.
No, but
Just the last time they were in the
last time
playoffs.
they were in the
Oh, okay.
playoffs. So the Knicks were in
Yeah.
the playoffs in what 20? He was injured, so the last time he made it was 23.
Yeah.
he lost in the second round.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair. But yeah, I mean, I thought Hallie improved regardless of anything. So
Yeah, I'm not
that's
saying
why.
he didn't. I just thought Randle would have been Randle's my first. J-Dub would have been my second. I think third. It's really hard to pick a third because it's hard to go through like the list of players. Like you can even make the argument for Aaron Gordon.
I put Obi Toppin,
Obi Toppin's a good shout, but he was good last year.
Yeah.
but he's really good now.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so far.
that's totally understandable. But
Yeah.
all 3 of these guys, I was definitely wrong about both Julius Randle and Jalen Williams. I sincerely apologize to J-Dub specifically
Yeah.
because I called this dude a bum after game 1.
Yeah.
And he's proved me
Not
wrong.
anymore,
Yeah,
yeah.
he has.
So you know what? Big ups to you, man.
Yeah.
You know, he's the only other player in OKC history besides Russell Westbrook to drop 40
Yes.
in a game.
Correct.
And I think he's won.
Finals game.
Yeah, I think he joined like LeBron and like that kind of company. Like, it's insane. So, congrats to J-Dub. So, you ready to get into the next award?
Let's go.
All right, award number 5, 6th man of the year. This is the best bench player in the playoffs. And in my opinion, it's really only a 2-horse race between
easy,
Alex
right?
Caruso and TJ McConnell.
Wrong.
Which one of you? We obviously know who he picked.
Tell me. Do
his vote
not
is
even
pretty much voided.
tell me.
Because this man
And
decided to
speaking
put
of-
Russell Westbrook in
Bro,
What is wrong with you?
he deserved it.
For
over
what
Caruso?
reason?
Yes.
over TJ McConnell.
Yes, bro.
Right.
What
I
did
need
he
to-
do that was anything close to being a
I
sixth
think
man?
I think the only
what
one,
did he do?
I think the only one that comes close to Russ is Alex Caruso.
you are hold
TJ
on.
McConnell does not come close.
You are talking
Sorry.
to someone right now that is not on a basketball team that's going to sign with the Guangdong Tigers
Dude.
in a week or two.
Your credibility is down the drain. Okay, you literally picked
Guangdong
SGA for the best defensive player in the
Well,
playoffs.
it was wrong.
You have zero credibility, bro. Stop it.
I sent Tyler the wrong thing.
Dude,
Should I bring up some stats for you, bro? Like,
I mean, do you want to
Russell,
talk
I'm not gonna even bring it up. I remember. I memorized stats.
12,
I memorized.
12 points on sub 40% shooting in
No,
Gio,
the playoffs this year? Yeah.
seriously.
Gio, you're talking about someone that's unemployed right now.
I'm pretty sure he was averaging 16.4.
11.7 is the exact amount from this
Really?
playoffs. Yeah.
Gio, you're talking about someone that's
Well, defensively, he was going crazy. I mean, Alex Caruso's averaging the same thing, though.
Alex
Gio.
Caruso. I'm
It's
showing
the
you.
same thing.
I'm looking up Caruso's playoff stats right now because I don't remember the exact numbers. Let's see. Caruso in the playoffs this year. Caruso's averaging only 10.
Yeah.
But it's barely a difference.
Yeah,
What-
it's a 2-point difference.
What's McConnell averaging?
McConnell's averaging probably 10. So Russ still averages more, and he had two stinkers in the last 2 games. But before that, I'm pretty sure he was averaging like 16.4 games.
He's
I mean,
averaging more
points per
points,
game.
but McConnell and Caruso are way more efficient. McConnell's
Gio.
shooting above 50%.
Yeah.
And he's only taking mid ranges.
Yeah, but dude can't play defense to save his life. Except for the steals, I know.
He's been locking up, bro. I'm
The
just saying.
steals on the inbounds. He's sneaky. He's sneaky.
Yeah.
I'll give that to him. But in
Hey,
terms
Gio.
of on-ball defense, these two guys, Caruso and Westbrook, have been off the charts.
And
Specifically Caruso. I'll
Caruso's-
get the edge on defense. for
Caruso's
Caruso.
been the better player.
He's been the clutcher player.
No, he's been the better player.
He's been like the
Across
player
the
that
whole
that-
48. I like Russ, but Alex Caruso's been the better
Listen,
player across the whole 48 and across the whole playoffs.
he's been the player that like hits that on time 3-pointer when you need it. He's that. Russell Westbrook has been more of like, okay, Jokic is off the floor. Here's the offense. It's all you.
Gio.
Do what you can do. Caruso's not that guy. Russell Westbrook's
Hey,
that guy.
Gio.
Okay.
Right now, you
Yo, Anthony, you have no credibility. Don't talk. We can move on to the next one.
wait, hold on. I want to say 2 things. Right,
What?
right now,
Yeah.
Gio and Russ's beard game are exactly the same.
Dude.
They can't grow anything.
He's roasting me.
Yo,
now.
that's actually wild. Are you going to
can't-
stand for that?
They can't grow any beard. And also, you're talking about someone that's unemployed right now. So, you're talking about someone that's unemployed right now and has no beard game like you. I don't know, Gio.
Yeah, Anthony. Once again, you have zero credibility.
I know, right? Because I put
Let's
SGA that
move on.
Looking up one more stat.
Yes, please.
I'm curious about one specific thing. So in the Nuggets series, the Nuggets Thunder series in the second round, is this Russell Westbrook averaged 10 points per game
Through the which series?
during the Nuggets Thunder series. He averaged
Okay.
10 points a game on 34% from the field.
Yeah, well, that wasn't a great series.
Well, but
I mean, it's
remember,
a tough defense. You have to understand that it's Dort, it's Caruso,
but
it's
they bo-
SGA, it's J-Dub. You know what I mean?
They
It's
both
tough.
played the same exact role against each other in the same exact series.
What do you mean?
The Thunder and the Nuggets, they were both the
sixth
sixth
man?
man off the bench. They were both playing that type of role. And Alex Caruso in the Nuggets series also averaged 10.5 points per game, but he shot almost 50% from the field.
Yeah, I understand that,
So-
Tyler. But you have to understand, obviously, we know that this Thunder defense is historically great. So obviously your numbers are going to drop.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But talk about the series prior. This man Westbrook was the best player in the league. Okay?
Yo, the
All right,
Blaze is
let me show you.
crazy.
The best bench player
Dude,
in
he
the league.
averaged-
The best bench player in the league. He averaged 17 points a game off the bench. That was the most out of every single bench player in the first round. Okay?
The Glaze is
No,
absolutely
it's facts.
insane.
This is facts.
He averaged 14 in the first round.
17.
Okay, yeah, definitely. And he still shot below 45%.
All right, let's move on.
Look,
I don't trust you, bro. I don't trust your facts,
I'm looking
bro.
at the stats right now.
Show the camera.
I'm not
Do you want me to look it up too, Gio?
yourself.
All right, fine. I'm not. You know,
Lord.
we can move on from this.
Yeah,
okay.
we'll move on.
I'm not
Gio,
conceding.
I'll look it
though.
up right
We will
now.
move on from
Get off of basketball reference.
Get
I
off
don't
of
wanna see
basketball
it.
reference. It's fine. But look, lo and behold, I would put McConnell and Caruso, because they made the finals and because they were better this season, I will put them above Russell Westbrook.
McConnell definitely not. Caruso,
McConnell
sure.
definitely deserves to be ahead of Russ, especially what he's doing in the finals right now. He's arguably
he
been
had
the
one
Pacers'
good
best
game.
player.
He had one good.
He's been good the whole
Okay,
series.
Russ did average around like 12 points a game in the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
12, 13.
Okay.
Yeah,
We're past that, bro.
Like he said.
exactly
We're
like I
past
said.
that, bro.
17 my ass. But let's get
17. That's insane.
Yeah, 17
talking about in the
insane,
Clippers
like-
series.
He
I'm not
averaged
talking
he averaged like 13
He averaged
points.
in the
I think it's like
Clippers
13
series.
No.
He averaged
Clippers series.
13.8. 13.8.
Seriously?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't trust your facts either.
It's literally on
Yo,
basketball
Anthony,
reference.
shut up. You
Bro,
said SGA was
bro,
about
my God.
yo, just tell your boy Russ to not drop 3 points in game 3 and his averages would have
No,
been up to
seriously,
17.
that's literally all it
Gio,
was.
you're about to be.
And it was because he was injured the whole time. We forgot to say he literally had a
Okay.
broken hand in
Yes.
two different places. But we can move on now. We can move on.
You're
Bro,
also.
this is some of the craziest glaze I've
You're
ever
gonna
seen
be
in my life.
unemployed like him soon too if you keep acting like
That's
this.
Listen, bro.
crazy.
Anthony, he dropped 13.8 points a game on a
Okay,
broken
that's
hand.
great.
What did you do?
That's great.
Look,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we're never going to get him off his bias.
No, it's fine.
Let him glaze in peace, and let's just move on to the
Yeah,
next
let's move
award.
on.
Yeah, what is
Please.
it?
So let's get on to the next award. This is an easy one. Clutch
Yeah.
Player of the Year. Obviously, Jalen Brunson won the award in the regular season. And I had a problem with that because I thought it was BS. I thought Jokic should have won it because Jokic has takeover essentially in those kind of games. But we're witnessing right now one of the most clutch runs in NBA history and playoff history. And very fittingly enough, all three of us have gone for the man himself, Tyrese Haliburton. What the freaking helly. I mean, Gio, talk about this clutch run we're seeing from this man.
Yeah, I mean, this man doesn't seem to miss when it comes down to those last second shots. I'm not even talking about within the last minute. I'm talking about last second. I'm pretty sure his field goal percentage is, I don't know, maybe 100.
Close to it.
Like, this man doesn't miss. But, yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say to that. I'm pretty sure he's like 7 game winners or something, or game tires, or
This
6
season,
or 7.
This season alone, I could be like 1 or 2 off, but I think in shots in the last minute to tie or take the lead in a playoff in fourth quarter or overtime, I think he's like 13 for 15
It's
or
crazy.
something along those lines.
crazy.
Like Antoine, as a avid Pacers hater, what is your honest thoughts about this clutch run from Tyrese Haliburton?
It's all luck. It's not gonna be there next year. That's
Okay.
for sure.
We'll see, man.
I mean, remember, he hit a game winner in the previous year
Yeah.
against the Bucks in the first
did.
round. And then really none of the Knicks Pacers games were close.
Yeah.
And he only played in 2 games of the Celtics. He only played in a game and a half against the Celtics before he got hurt.
I'm gonna keep track of how many doinkers he throws up next year in the regular season in
Please
the
do.
last 2 seconds.
Please do.
I mean, he did have that insane 3 against the Bucks in the regular season.
yeah.
We'll have to see. But right now it's phenomenal, 100%. That's why he's here with
But
all
it's
3
luck,
of
though.
us. It's all luck.
Okay.
The only 2 he's missed, as far as I can remember, was the one in overtime against the Knicks in Game 1 when Toppin had that putback dunk. And then in the regular season, it was a perfect contest from, I forgot who it was. I think it was against the Celtics, but he got caught in a pump fake, and there was like 0.1 on the clock. He had to just chuck it up. So, but yeah, big up Tyrese Haliburton. He might be becoming the new Knicks father. Reggie
Yeah.
Miller might be passing him the torch.
Yeah.
So I just find it great that like the Knicks got sent home from the choke and they got sent home in the NBA Cup from Trae Young rolling the dice on the floor. That
Yeah.
all happened in one season.
2 of our kryptonites in
Exactly.
the same year.
What a year for the hate watch, man. It's great.
I know,
So,
right?
was there anyone else that even thought about contending with him?
Not really.
I didn't really think so either. There wasn't much. A lot of the star players didn't really perform up to par this year because they game planned differently.
Yeah.
So let's get into our brand new award, Most Underrated Player. We're a big proponent of the little guys, the underdogs, guys that don't really get the credit they deserve. And we want to show some love to these guys because at the end of the day, they're fantastic in what they do. And, you know, the big media conglomerates won't talk about them. And I don't remember if all 3 of us have gone for different answers or not, but I believe there are differences here with this award. So who have we gone for? This is it. We've all gone straight down the Indiana Pacers line. Gio has gone for Pascal Siakam. Anthony has gone for Tyrese Haliburton. And I have gone for T.J. McConnell.
Yeah. I mean, every single player on my list on here was also a Pacer.
Yeah.
I also have Nemhard.
Yes.
I also have Obi Toppin.
Neesmith.
You know what I'm saying? Neesmith as well. So
You
it's
can-
like
you can go
the
the
entire
whole
Pacers
team.
roster is underrated. So just throw how about we just put the whole team? Forget
whole
the players,
Pacers.
the entire Pacer team.
I'm going
Most
to do it right
underrated
now.
player.
The entirety of the Pacers logo is just on the screen. You can't even see us.
Yeah.
It's just the Pacers
Yeah.
logo. It's fully zoomed in. Everything of that
I
nature.
really think that it goes to it's a team award.
Honestly.
Because like every player has stepped up in so many different ways.
Even Miles Turner. You know what I mean? Like
Even
everyone.
MT. It was hard, but like the shining one is Hallie for a lot of reasons. Siakam as well, and McConnell. Same thing. Even the other guys, Neesmith, MT, Matherin sometimes even.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sometimes.
Obi.
There's really no underrated player on that There were no overrated player on that
No.
roster.
There's no accurately rated player either, besides maybe now Siakam and
No, I still
Tyrese.
like in my honest opinion, the only reason why I didn't choose Siakam for this specific award is because he won Eastern Conference Finals MVP.
Okay.
Which is why I think his Hallie
Understandable.
take is valid because he didn't win the Conference Finals MVP. But in my honest opinion, I think Siakam is the most underrated player in NBA history.
I think
I don't know about NBA history.
I don't know.
In maybe the past
In-
10 to 15, 20 years.
You look at a player that's done everything he's done. He's only got a couple All-Stars. He low key has a Hall of Fame career,
Mm-hmm. I
even if
think
they lose the series.
Yeah.
That's why I think he's the most underrated.
Yeah.
It's going to wind up being someone like Jason Tatum because he gets so much hate for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Siakam is genuinely the most underrated player I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But for this specific playoffs, you have a guy that's like 5'11", 6 foot, shooting above 50%, taking SGA and J-Dub off the dribble, hitting them with spin moves, getting steal after steal. I think he's the only player in finals history to have 15 points, 5 steals, and I think 5 assists
It's pretty cool.
or something like that. And this guy's insane. He makes no sense. And he just is instant energy. He kind of gives that Russ kind of energy off the bench.
You know who I should have picked?
Who?
Sarah McConnell. Not fine.
That's
funny.
Stop it.
Well, what's just to her because she has a knee injury.
Yeah,
So,
shout out to her.
Prayers up. Prayers up to the McConnell family. Hopefully,
If you know, you know.
we're going to be potentially seeing tonight a lot more McConnell minutes. So, look, when the Celtics played the Pacers last year when Haliburton went out, him and Nembhard ate, and so did Neesmith. So,
Yeah.
we'll have to see because while it looks good for the Thunder, the guy you were single-handedly game planning for might not play. So, and even if he does play, he's going to be on limited minutes most likely. So we'll see what happens. TJ McConnell could wind up being the root of the comeback for the Indiana Pacers. But in retrospect, it's a Pacers award. If you were to pick someone not on the Pacers for this award, who would you pick and why?
I don't have anyone.
No one? It's got to be someone.
No, literally.
Maybe
no
the
one.
Thompson twins.
What the? That was so random.
I would probably go for Aaron Gordon.
AG.
could.
You know what? Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Could go for him.
I think AG.
I don't
Lou
really,
Dort.
No.
because he's been getting a lot of praise. It's tough. It really just has been the Pacers because they've been
It's just the
counted out
Pacers.
so much. Is there anyone on Minnesota?
No.
Terrence Shannon.
Maybe-
J-Mac.
Alexander Walker.
Yeah, we could.
He had a solid game, 5 and 6. Yeah.
It wasn't 6 games. It was 5 games.
Oh well, then
Five
it was
games.
4 and 5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
4 and 5.
But did you know that Nickeil Alexander-Walker is SGA's cousin?
Yeah, I knew that.
Oh, yes.
No idea.
That's
It's on his reference page.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Bro, Doris Burke and Mike Vree, they beat that into the ground.
Oh yeah.
Every second they had. It was pissing me off.
Yeah.
But you ready to get into the next award?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got another quick award here. This is Coach of the Playoffs. This is for the coach that has game planned the best, made the best moves, everything of that nature. Who have we gone for? Surprise, surprise. It's Rick Carlisle. Let's go.
Yeah.
I had Mark Dagnall as the second one because he's
Well,
actually done a fantastic job. That
course.
defense is
I actually disagree.
flying around. Really?
I think the defense is great. I feel like Mark Dagnall's been outcoached a lot in this playoff run.
No way.
I felt like every time he challenged something, it never got overturned.
Well, that's not everything with coaching. That's the coaching staff as
but
well. It's
That's a huge part of it, though.
that's a big part.
During
but
the Nuggets series, and I think during Game 1 of the Pacers series, SGA told him not to challenge, and he did it anyways.
it's probably because he has a bunch of coaches on the sidelines telling him, "Yeah, challenge it." You know what I mean? Like it's not just
Right.
SGA. There's a bunch of people involved
Yeah.
in that.
But who chooses those coaches?
Yeah, of course, that's him. But at the end of the day, Mark Dagnall has probably the second best defense of all time. And guess who constructed that? Him.
was really Sam Presti that constructed
No,
it.
he constructed the team.
Yeah, he's
But
guiding
Dagnall
Yeah.
has the philosophy. That's what matters.
That's fair. I just don't. I think as far as like an all-time team like this goes, he just really hasn't. He hasn't done over the top things like other coaches have. Like, I kind of put him in that same category as like a Joe Mazzulla or a Mike Malone.
Nah, he's better.
I don't think so.
He definitely is.
I think what Rick Carlisle's done in this postseason has been objectively better.
Oh, 100%. I mean, Rick Carlisle is far above and beyond Mark Dagnall, but Dagnall is definitely second place, in my opinion. So,
Okay, that's totally fair.
and guess who I have at third?
I could have argued Tibbs for second place.
Hello. I put Tibbs at third.
Yeah.
I would have put Chris Finch probably over both of them.
No freaking
Over
shot.
at least Tibbs. I wouldn't have probably put him over Dagnall. But I would have
Okay.
put Chris Finch up there. Honestly, low key, based on the circumstances, David Adelman.
Oh,
He
but
did
yeah.
decent.
Being thrown into the fire like that and getting this Thunder team to a game 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did very
Insane.
decent. He did very
Yeah,
decent.
I would put
Yeah.
that there.
If he, imagine he beat the Thunder, now we would be talking about him being one of the greats.
Do you think they would have beaten the Pacers?
Oh,
Yes.
probably.
Well, remember, Gordon would have been hurt.
Well,
Yeah, but-
let's factor in the health. Like everyone's healthy. I think the Nuggets win.
Okay, fair. So yeah, we would have no idea. Remember, the Pacers got Malone fired, so
Yeah.
yeah.
True.
Congrats to Rick Carlisle, done an outstanding job. That roster just fits right into his philosophy and everything
Yeah.
like that. So that concludes our NBA awards. Now we're going to move into our all playoff teams. So we're going to do our all playoff first team, second team, and then we'll do our all rookie and all defense. So it's going to be like the usual. We'll do one person's going to highlight, then we'll reveal the next 5. So remember,
Yep.
just read off all 5 players, and then we'll go from there. And everything's in alphabetical order. So if you wonder why SGA or something's at the bottom, it's not because of that.
Right.
So all playoff first team. Antoine, you are headlining. Read off your first 5.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. Giannis, SGA, Hallie, Jokic, and Siakam.
Siakam in the first team. I disagree personally.
I mean, won conference finals.
That's
MVP.
crazy.
I understand it, but I have someone else.
Well, obviously,
We'll
we
have to save
disagree.
that.
But I don't. I mean, yeah, I think this might be the same 5 I have.
Okay, that's good.
So you're the odd one out, Gio. So let's just look at yours then.
Yeah.
Read off your 5.
Yeah, so it's the same 5. So it's Giannis, SGA, Tyrese, Nikola Jokic, and Kawhi Leonard instead of Pascal Siakam.
Yeah, that's wild.
Kawhi's second team.
Yeah,
There's
Siakam's
no.
been
I understand
better
why you
than
guys say
Kawhi.
that. But
Siakam averaged 25 in the
Kawhi is
conference
second.
finals.
I
He's
think-
averaging like 20 something in the finals right now.
yeah,
Kawhi's in Cancun.
I understand that. So that's why I see why you guys put Siakam
Yeah.
because he got farther in the playoffs. Understandable.
Right.
But Kawhi Leonard in his series, I think he was more dominant.
Well, yeah.
So that's why he's my first team.
I'm okay with that, but he that's where he got second team.
That's also why Giannis is my first team because even though he got knocked out in the first round, he was super dominant.
Well,
So,
yeah, Giannis should
If
be
you
on
understand,
all of
that's
ours.
my logic.
I know Giannis should
fair.
be on all of ours,
Yeah.
but Kawhi, it's over Spicy P. That's a little rough.
Yeah, I would agree.
That's fine.
Let's get to my 5. As per usual, it's the same as Antoine's.
Yeah.
Giannis, SGA, Haliburton, Jokic, and Siakam.
Yeah.
I actually originally had Giannis in second team. And then I switched it last second. I had J-Dub up in first team. But
Yeah,
I didn't want recency bias of the finals because this is the entirety of the playoffs. And Giannis was just better in that series than a lot of J-Dub's low games.
Yeah,
So he's kind of been up and down. So first team was always going to be pretty simple, pretty simplistic with all that stuff.
Yeah.
Ready to get into second team?
Let's go.
All right, I am headlining this segment, and here is my 5. So I have Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards, Aaron Gordon, Julius Randle, and Jalen Williams.
I think I have 4 out of 5.
Wow, this is
Of
gonna get
Tyler's.
dicey. This is gonna get dicey.
Yeah, that's why we only did 2 teams. 'Cause
I
if we did all
have-
3, it was going to be predictable.
I have no wrong with this. Kawhi should be here.
Yeah, I agree.
I would definitely probably switch out. It's tough.
If Kawhi showed up in Game 7, he would have made my list.
Fair.
I maybe would switch out. It's between
I'll take Randall out.
it's between Gordon or Randall.
Oh, Randall's been one of the... Randall, we were talking about, was the best player on the Wolves this
Yeah.
playoffs.
That's why it's
Yeah.
tough.
You have to keep Randall
Then
on.
maybe
It
Edwards
is-
has to go out.
Yeah, I couldn't...
Depending on your list.
Yeah.
My list is completely different.
I could have been petty and took Brunson off, but I had to be realistic.
No, yeah, he's second team. Not Cat.
Yeah.
No.
He's second team.
Cat wasn't even a thought in my mind, even for third team.
Yeah, no.
He
Yeah.
wouldn't have made it. So, ready to get into yours, Antoine? All right,
Let's
read
rock.
off your 5.
Yeah, I said we have literally a 4 out of 5
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so same thing as Tyler, Brunson, Anthony Edwards, Randall, J-Dub, and then the lone switcheroo for me and Tyler is that I have Kawhi instead of Aaron Gordon.
That's fair. Totally understandable. I thought Aaron Gordon did a lot more,
Yeah. Yeah.
not being as good of a player as Kawhi Leonard. But I don't really have too much of an issue with it.
Right.
Because Kawhi in those, I would say in 5 of the 7 games, Kawhi was outstanding.
Yeah.
One of the games he was okay, and then game 7 he was dreadful.
Yeah.
It just
That's
that
true.
whole Clippers team just didn't show up.
None of them.
They basically stayed in LA.
Yeah.
Especially Harden.
But I mean, that's what he always does.
Yeah.
So it's like he'll get a pass for the Brooklyn series because he was hobbled.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. We're getting to your 5, Gio.
Let's go.
You said this was dicey. He has a very different list than we.
Yeah, very, very.
So read
you're
it
gonna
off.
see Miles Turner on this list. That's a big typo, my friends.
Really?
Yeah, because I meant to put Aaron Gordon, and it just auto-corrected for some
No,
reason.
liar.
No, bad boy.
It just auto-corrected. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, definitely.
But my list is Anthony Edwards, and I also don't have Jalen Brunson.
Based.
So anyways,
I like that.
Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle, Pascal Siakam, Aaron Gordon, and
No,
Jalen.
no. I'm not letting
Miles
you swindle
Turner.
the Spotify viewers.
I don't know why it says Miles Turner, but it says Miles Turner for some reason. And then Jalen Williams. So that's my list.
I mean, I don't really see what's wrong with having Miles Turner on here.
I think Aaron Gordon was, or even Jalen Brunson or Aaron Gordon should definitely be in there instead of Miles Turner. I don't know why my phone like auto corrected it. It's like
No,
it's like
you
really
typed-
like
you typed Miles
unfortunate.
Turner.
Yeah, this is how you know he spent too much time with Antoine because he's starting to change up.
Yeah, Brunson should be
Yeah.
here
No, but I'm
too.
being serious.
Brunson should
Yeah,
be
Brunson
here.
should be on this list as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I-
it would
that's
be
fair.
between Brunson and Gordon. Yeah.
No, you would take Miles Turner out and Aaron Gordon and put Brunson in. That's literally the only change I would do.
What?
You have to, only one can go in if
Yeah.
you take a Miles Turner.
Oh,
It has to be
Jalen
either-
Brunson.
No, I would say Aaron Gordon was better than Brunson.
It's hard.
No.
It's tough.
It's hard.
It's tough.
I think I'll go Jalen
Look,
Brunson.
Aaron
but it's
Gordon.
tough.
Aaron Gordon's got 2 game winners and a game tying 3. Jalen
He
Brunson
does.
airballed the 3 and hit the side of the backboard on
Yeah,
the 3.
bro. But he also
But
had that game winner
we're not
against
talking
Ausar
about
Thompson.
that.
But look, clutchness is a factor for me,
Well,
and he just wasn't clutch.
Brunson was clutch in that first series.
Again, that was the first round. That was like
Yeah.
2 months ago.
But you have to consider that. It's the playoffs.
Right. But Aaron Gordon also had a clutch 3 in the second round for both two of those games. So
Okay.
that's kind of what it is.
I would still go Brunson, but
Yeah.
Fair enough. So those are our all playoff teams. Ready for our all playoff rookie team?
let's go.
Yeah.
These are for the young guns. Gio, I believe you're headlining this.
Yeah.
Read off your all playoff rookie team.
Yeah, so I got Cade Cunningham at first, Tari Eason. What are you talking about? What's he?
Just read your 5. Read your-
So Cade Cunningham, Tari Eason, Alperen Şengün, Amen Thompson, Ausar Thompson.
What the hell did Tari Eason do to get on this team?
Dude,
Are you forgetting some player?
Bro, I
Tell me who-
knew he was gonna flip out as soon as he saw Tari Eason.
what player did you? Why are you sticking the middle finger at me, bro?
What? This is literally the whole Rockets team.
I just noticed that. Yeah, it's just
Bro,
What the hell?
There's a bunch of
Cade.
young guns that are good.
3 Rockets, 2 Pistons,
Yeah,
and
that's it.
The fact that Tari
yeah.
Eason on here is literally criminal.
Yeah, no, that's.
yeah, that is That's worse than the Miles.
I like
Turner
Tari
guys, man.
Eason, so I put him on.
So do I, but he did nothing.
Look, Tari Eason's gonna go down.
You
as the
you
guy
did
that-
more than Tari Eason in the playoffs.
I did?
Yes,
Tari
you did.
Eason's gonna go down as the guy that trolled the Warriors and then got bounced by the Warriors. So yeah, that's
All right,
crazy.
who's on your list?
Look at me
Let
and
me-
Tyler's team.
Let me go to mine next.
Tyler.
So here is my list. I have
Oh,
gone
pods, yeah.
for Cade Cunningham, Brandon Pajemski, Alperen Şengün, Amen Thompson, and Ausar Thompson.
Yeah,
Another player that proved me wrong, Brandon Pajemski,
Yeah,
played
I forgot.
very well in the second round.
he did.
He's not on there, but I think I have the same 4 you guys all have. Excuse me.
You don't have pods. on
Oh, what?
You don't
I
have
don't have
pods?
pods on there.
Yeah, that's
What the
crazy.
hell,
Pods
bro?
deserve to be on
there?
here.
Yeah, he was on my list. Why is he not on yours?
Look at this man
Anyways.
trying to coast.
Yeah.
Crazy. You're just
Spotify
going right
viewers.
through all the waves.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty self-explanatory with the other 4. I mean, they all 4 should be on here.
You
Tari
should-
Eason's crazy.
You should be
bro.
removed.
I don't know why anyone would put
You
that.
should be removed from your spot.
Yo,
That's,
Anthony, why'd
that's
you
actually
put him-
crazier than
That is
Russell Westbrook,
criminal.
Sixth Man of the year.
Anthony, why would you put him on there?
That is criminal.
Do you want to get to your 5?
Yeah, let's-
Here is your 5.
Ah.
Jalen Duren had
There
it.
you go.
Yeah.
Jalen Duren, exactly why. So Cade again, Şengün, the Thompson twins, and I thought Jalen Duren was phenomenal against us because I'm not because I saw a lot of him against us, but
Pause.
I thought he literally like turned a nice step, nice page in the book for him. Just overall, but he needs to be better
He
on
literally
his endurance.
fouled his A off every single game.
Listen, but he was everywhere.
He was on Cat's level of
Like,
fouling.
here's the problem, right? Is that Karl Anthony Towns was so abysmally bad in game one, and that was the one game Isaiah Stewart played. Every other game, Cat just went off.
No, but Jalen Duren's like a tree stump. Like
He is, but like
he is
his defense,
massive.
his
He's good.
defense was not great against the Knicks. That was why he didn't make my list.
I understand, but his what's the terminology? His presence
His
Yeah.
stature.
Yeah.
and his presence there like
That's
was
true.
demeaning
Understand.
for a lot of the Knicks guys.
Well, yeah, obviously he's a tough guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's definitely not as soft as a guy like Cat. So
Tari Eason.
Tari Eason.
Can I? What are his?
I don't know why anyone would put
What
that.
are his play? Let me look up what his playoff stats were.
I
this
literally
year.
put pods, bro.
Let me see what Tari Eason did this year in the playoffs.
Honestly, autocorrect is insane. I don't know why they did that to me.
Bro, why are you ducking the smoke, Gio?
Okay.
I'm about to like get an Android because
Bro,
iPhone
he averaged
autocorrect
7
is crazy.
points. He averaged 7 points in the playoffs.
Tari Eason in
pretty
the
good.
playoffs this year, he had exact 7 points. He
Pretty
played in
good.
all 7 games.
He shot decently well from the field.
did,
but
yeah.
He played in all 7
All right,
games.
Gio. All right,
He
Gio.
averaged
Damn.
he averaged less than 20 minutes.
Yeah, 18.9. All right,
Yeah.
Gio.
7 points in 18 minutes is pretty damn
You
good.
may have some knowledge, Gio.
Listen, I have ball knowledge.
Still not who I would have chosen. but you
Yeah,
know what? I
no,
ain't gonna- he was a minus 27 combined in the series. By the way.
Well, the Rockets lost.
Tari Eason was.
They
not
went to
even
7
a thought.
games. It was close. The Rockets almost came back from 3-1.
I bet you Jalen Duren was a -2.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, but he was.
They lost
I bet you
less
Pods
than
was a -2.
His 2 worst games, by the way, were Game 5 and Game 7.
Who?
Tari Eason.
Okay, not bad. I mean,
So-
he was pretty
Anyways,
good.
let's move.
Wait,
Yeah, let's
Jalen,
roll.
I'm checking Jalen Duren real quick. Jalen Duren in the playoffs, he averaged 12 points. He shot 65% from the field. He's a big man, but that is still pretty good for a big man.
It's regular. It's average.
His plus minus in the series was the same.
Okay.
So they were both equally ass.
Yeah.
So
Pods was probably better.
Pods is 100% the
Yeah.
clear best.
Yeah.
That's
So
what I meant to put.
ready to get into the final team, our all playoff defensive team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Antoine, you are headlining this segment. Read your 5.
Wow.
Puts
Wait.
SGA like a head ass, bro.
This is what you sent me.
Is it Nemhart? No, Nemhart's supposed to be on here, Tyler.
You never sent me Nemhard.
Oh my
you have-
God.
You have the same autocorrect issue
Tyler.
as me.
Wait, I swear that this is actually crazy.
No, you.
I literally said actually move out Amen for Nemhart.
Oh, I
It's
didn't
right
see that.
here.
I didn't see that last text.
It's right
It's
here.
going to be fixed on the screen, so
Yeah.
it's okay.
So the
He's-
team is Alex Caruso, SGA, Aaron Neesmith,
Aaron Nemhard.
Aaron-
Andrew Nemhard, and Asar Thompson. That is the list.
That's
Okay.
an ass list.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Why?
SGA should not be there.
bro.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Listen, Tari Eason.
I'm not even gonna get started.
I think
Yeah.
SGA just deserves to be there because of the MVP.
No, he got the MVP already. Doesn't
Who
need
else?
no
Who
defensive.
else do you have on here besides SGA?
I'd rather
How
have
about
both
Lucas
Thompson
Dort?
twins. Lucas? You mean Lugan?
Oh, my fault.
Bro,
Wait,
it's
actually,
Lucas.
actually, he's right. Lou Dort should be there instead of SGA.
Same team.
Yeah.
Even
Understandably,
J
yeah.
Dub would
He
be
should.
on there over him.
I totally forgot about him.
Yeah.
But
How about yo Gobert and Giannis? How about them?
Gobert
guys?
was?
What?
I was debating Gobert.
Do my ears deceive me?
Okay.
Did you just suggest Rudith Gobert?
I'm a very objective person.
I was.
I
In
love
this
that.
playoffs, he was good in this playoffs.
All right, so
Yeah.
you know what? Let's transition to Gio's 5 then.
Go for
Gio,
it.
read away your 5. Oh, let's pull up
Yeah.
both. So just read your 5.
All right, so I got Giannis, Alex Caruso, Lou Jeans Dort, Aaron Neesmith, and yeah.
your jeans are what? Lou jeans?
Lugans.
Lou.
Shut up.
Lucas
Blue
Blue
jeans?
Jeans Dort.
Lou.
Blue Jeans Dort. Let's go.
Louis Vuitton jeans.
Freaking Wrangler head
Louis
ass.
Vuitton jeans.
Yeah, definitely.
Wait, you can't count the Thompson twins as one, Tyler.
Look, we'll get to mine in a second. Gio,
Yo.
Rudy Gobert. Mention his name, bro.
Nah, we can move on to your list.
No, bro. Rudith Gobert.
Yeah, Beauty Gobert.
Yeah, Beauty Gobert.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, in all seriousness, Rudy was
Hey, yo, he's good.
very good
Yeah.
in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
And
was.
then unfortunately, you meet an all-time team. It happens.
And just get absolutely obliterated.
So,
Never mind.
Yeah.
Why is
That's
Giannis
crazy.
on here?
Are you kidding me? Giannis is Giannis, bro.
played
Giannis is Giannis.
God.
Yeah, but he played
I'm
5
dead.
games.
I don't care.
He almost fouled out in like
Yo,
every
Gio,
game.
So did the Thompson twins.
Gio, you have no ball knowledge, bro.
That's crazy.
So did the Thompson twins.
You
bro.
didn't put any of them in
Yeah.
the freaking thing.
Neither of them deserved it. Brunson
Oh,
dropped 30
my
every single game against a
goodness.
sore.
Stop it.
What do you want me to say? He destroyed
my
a sore every single game.
Okay, Gio.
Hit a game winner in his face, crossed him up between the
Okay,
legs.
So Gio,
Knockdown.
okay, yes,
That's
you're
crazy.
right. But Gio,
crazy.
Gio is the casual that made the ranker list.
That is
you'll
true.
See out later.
Yeah.
Listen,
So-
Gio is the.
I'm not
casual.
even gonna. I'm not. You know what? Say
Let's-
your piece. Say your piece. It's okay.
Look, they may have Brunson and Curry may have averaged all what they averaged, but they shot well below their efficiency. So,
And they still got dunked out of the first round.
just like Giannis did in less games.
Except Giannis is Giannis.
what did Giannis do overwhelmingly on the defensive end?
Just be Giannis. That's what he did.
He gave up the game-winning shot that sent them home.
Yeah, he did.
Yo, Gio, I give you props for standing on business, bro.
Yeah,
Giannis-
Keep it on Giannis. I give you props.
Stand on
Giannis,
business.
literally, just his presence alone. You were talking about Jalen Duren's presence.
you-
Talk about Giannis's presence.
Talk
His
about-
presence alone is better defense than the Thompson twins.
Men Thompson
Period.
inflicts fear into the hearts.
You stand on
just-
you stand on business unlike I do.
Yeah, that's facts.
He wasn't standing
Learn
on
from
business
this.
5 minutes ago. And he said,
Learn from this,
You
bro.
don't stand
Yeah.
on business
No,
like I do.
No, because
Not
that was
anymore.
a genuine typo. That's the only thing.
"No, bro,
This was legit.
I ain't having this BS."
I can't believe Tyler messed up Andrew Nemhard for me.
So let's get. Do you want me to get into my 5?
Yes.
All right, here is my 5. I have Alex Caruso, Blue Jeans Dort, Lou Gens Dort, Andrew Nemhard, Aaron Neesmith. And remember how we always say the Thompson twins are literally so even with each other that you can't even pick who's better. They literally are the same thing. And because I only had one spot left, I thought, why not just put both of them in there?
So then, Anthony, you get to pick one more
I
player.
can pick one more player.
Go.
I'll put Lou Dort on there. Exactly.
You should have put.
Yeah, but they're not twins, though. You need
No, I meant
you're
an
gonna put the
star.
Oh, so you want to put the
Yeah, we'll
Thompson
put them
twins?
together.
All right, so
Nemhard
So on the screen, we're going to change it up. Antoine's going to have Nemhard below,
Yeah.
and then we're good.
and Lou Dort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
Yeah, not Jan. I mean, Rudy. Ooh.
No, you're not changing.
just
any
take
more
out
picks.
SGA, bro.
Ooh.
You're not changing any more picks.
Yeah, you're done.
You're
I
stuck.
thought
You're
SG
stuck with what you got.
I thought SG did very good this playoffs defensively. Okay.
I mean, you got a lot of steals, but so did TJ McConnell, but he's not anymore.
I don't know
on the
what
list.
basketball you were watching, Gio. For Giannis to be on here. And Tari
Yeah, that's
Eason.
crazy.
Yeah.
You clearly are watching Tari Eason minutes.
Did you not hear what I said?
That's
Gio
wild.
Gio watches no ball.
Okay.
It's okay, Gio. I'm surprised you didn't put Nemhard on here, Gio.
Yeah. You know what? You know what happened was.
Autocorrect.
Yeah. So you know the story. I don't even have to explain.
Oh, so
myself
wait.
here.
So basically, then there was a typo for 6th man of the year. He typoed Russell Westbrook. He
No,
really,
no.
He
That was
really
Alex
like.
Caruso.
He
was
really
the
meant to say like Deuce McBride. Like,
Nah.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
Nah.
really good, Gio.
Yeah.
I'm very glad you did that.
Really? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, obviously that concludes our award show for the 2025 NBA playoffs. Obviously, tonight is Game 6, and if the Pacers somehow can win that game with or without Haliburton, Game 7 will be Sunday, and we'll kind of take a look back on the entirety of the playoffs next week. But guys, do we have any sort of questions, comments, concerns, final thoughts?
No, we
Oh,
done.
Let's close it off.
Let us know in the comments what y'all's picks are for certain awards. Let me know if you disagree on anything. If you think Russell Westbrook should be 6th man of the year. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of episode number 62 of the Floor Spacer podcast. Gio of the week, and what's the comment for the people that are still with the flow?
Tari Eason.
The G of the week. The G of the week.
Gio's beard. Gio's non-existent beard.
Dude, why are you roasting me so heavy?
Wild.
Gio's Adventure Bible.
All right, so wait. I need a G of the week, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Ryan Carpenter, physical therapist at Maven Center.
He doesn't
It
want-
was his birthday, so
Happy birthday.
he turned 36. Inside joke. Only he would understand that.
He doesn't know who you are.
What?
He
Okay.
literally doesn't know who you are.
That's crazy.
Anthony, you're-
I'm actually surprised you didn't choose McConnell.
Ooh, TJ McConnell.
No, the other one.
Yo, can I change
Sarah,
that?
wait.
Okay.
Shout out to my G of the
Did you
week.
say Sarah? It's Megan.
Oh, my fault, Megan.
thought it was
he
Sarah.
said Sarah. You didn't say it.
Yeah, I meant to say. All right, shout out to my real G of the week that belongs right here, Megan
Yeah.
McConnell.
We're gonna try to
Shout
get her
out
on
to
the show.
Look, we get a lot more views than we used to. There's a chance she may have accidentally seen one of our shorts.
yeah.
You never know.
We're gonna get her on the show.
So yeah,
That's
bro, I can't tell you. I would love to have TJ McConnell on the show.
Yo, that would be awesome.
That would be incredible.
Yeah.
You guys literally look like
Like
brothers.
he's literally the greatest player of all time.
Okay.
And what are you commenting home for the people that are still with the flow of the video?
Comment home.
Comment home.
Comment.
Comment home. Yo, Gio's got to go to sleep, bro.
I do. I'm pretty tired. What time is it? 9:20?
9:20.
All right. Let's comment typo because of all the autocorrect
All
typos.
the autocorrect typos.
So you can comment autocorrect. You can comment typo. It's up to you, honestly.
Comment all of it.
Gio needs 3 more pairs of glasses that he already has on his face to see what he's typing.
Okay.
That you do.
Anthony, you're actually canceled, so you're done talking for
Wow, really?
the day. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're done talking.
Damn.
He's reached his limit. Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow.
His word limit. Yeah, it's
So-
too many.
Wow.
But yeah, obviously, next week the season ends, whether it's tonight or on Sunday.
Yes.
Obviously, we are streaming on Wednesday night. On what's Wednesday, the 25th?
25th.
So June 25th. What time is the draft? Is it
8 o'clock.
So we'll be live at 7:30, and then we're going to stream the entirety of the first round. We'll see what's happening. There's a lot of rumors going around that Ace Bailey might fall all the way to the teams and stuff like that. And
Whoa.
the pod will be out on Friday. Correct me if I'm wrong. That is the 27th. So yeah, we'll record the pod on Tuesday most likely, or one of these days, and then we'll stream Wednesday. The pod will go out on Friday. You can check out the draft stream on Spotify on Thursday, which is when that'll go out. And we'll be live that Monday the 30th for free agency. It's going to be our mega stream. It's going to be our biggest stream of the year. We'll hopefully have a bunch of guests on that day. So, anyone that wants to come on, or if you have any suggestions, let us know down in the comments. You can DM us on Discord or anything like that. And if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. If you're on Spotify audio platforms, give us 5 stars, answer the polls. Also for YouTube, we're very close to 6K. We're like under 50 away. So get us there.
Yeah.
And what else? Follow our socials at FloorSpacerPod on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Join the Discord server in the pinned comment below. And guys, I think that's pretty much everything we've got covered, right? Do we have anything else to say before we head on out of here for the week?
No.
Let's go.
We're going to sleep.
Yeah. So it's been a really fun season. We hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all for watching. We love you all endlessly. We still do not like Nico Harrison. And we'll see you all next week in episode 63. Peace.